Warning, the contents of this product are highly flammable. Do not store or use near open flame. Keep out of reach of children. Proceed with extreme caution.
Alizé, Belvier, and Cavassier. It don't matter what you smoke, grow chronic or hate. Please, don't start with the beef. Roll up, I give a fuck about you crawling away. Swole up, hold up, not this nigga, bro. G.E. Don't forget the O. Gangsta, get respect like Bell Biv DeVoe. Ain't you mad at me cause I can steal your hoe? Bring it on, whip it, snap a fuck around and I'ma smack it. Let them hoppers come get at you. Don't you hate me cause I'm dapper? Y'all better get me on the leash. Yep, sir. Y'all better come contain this beast. Let me speak my piece, don't let me aim my piece. If my piece get aimed, there gon' be pieces of brain. Y'all niggas still releasing the same. I'm increasing my name and increasing my game.
Baby, can we kick it? Can we kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? Ooh, my niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters on time. Come get it. Come, baby, can we kick it? Kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? My niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters want some. Come get it. Come get it. I'm an old school OG. Y'all haters OC. Y'all haters know me in the club, swinging no E, smoking on the Layla. With the gangsta flavor, independent but a major. A thug operator. Look at my wrist, and you can see that I'm the shit. I like my feet thick. Pierce tongue and pierce clip. My remedy's Hennessy while I'm poking these beats, choking on weed, representing real G's. Baby, I'm short and heavy. Built to last like a Chevy. Y'all niggas ain't ready. Industry cats know I'm deadly. Y'all can't handle thugs like us that love the buzz, that love the crush. A freaky chick that love the fuck. I represent the homies in jail with the law on my trail. Pocket full of ends, drinking, thinking, what the hell? Player, look in my eyes. Can't you see that I'm high? We gon' party till the cops cuffing you and I. Baby, can we kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? Ooh, my niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters want some. Come get it. Come, baby, can we kick it? Kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? My niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters want some. Come get it. Come get it.
We gangsters and we don't play. We got plenty money, but we don't pay. If your bitch peeping, then she gon' lay. If she need a ride home, then you gon' stay. So don't bring no drama, don't bring your wife. Or you gon' leave your marriage or leave your life. I don't hesitate when it comes to fun, and I don't hesitate when it comes to guns. I got weed so sticky that they call it glue. Your girl's with me, so she ain't calling you. Rolling hard in my Cadillac, laid back. Smoked out with my windows tinted all black. With a black gat on the side of my waist. Sipping cran and bell cause I love the taste. Got women in my face, half dressed in lace. Serving Durban without leaving a trace.
Baby, can we kick it? Can we kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? Ooh, my niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters want some. Come get it. Come, baby, can we kick it? Can we kick it? Are you with it? Are you with it? My niggas, can you dig it? Can you dig it? And all your haters want some. Come get it. Come get it. Well, all right. Well, all right. Gangsta boogie, 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 gangsta boogie. Come on, gangsta boogie, gangsta boogie. Just groove with me, gangsta boogie. Just groove with me, gangsta boogie. Just move with me, just dance with me, dance with you. Just rock with me, just rock with you. Just smooth, smooth. It's so groovy, it's so smooth. Ooh. We keep the party jumping all night long until we into the early morn. We don't stop and we don't quit cause we drop hits and it's dope shit.
There's a party at the Wild Wild Club tonight, and the party ain't over till the morning light. We them ballers from the 1, 2, 3, rolling VIP. We bought the bar, so we drinking F-R-E-E. I brought a brand new 6, and you haters despise, cause when the wheels stop the spinning, grown hypnotized. Teeth chatter from the ice on my neck and wrist, and you can dance if you want it or just bounce.
I be rolling down the street, smoking hydro, sipping on gin and juice, gin and juice.
feeling me. I roll weed, how I'm finna be, cause that's me. Banking for a century, with my G's, born looking for the memories. Feeling free, where them thugs in the clubs now. We getting high, drunk till we lazy eye. No lie, we them Bentleys that roll by. That's right, we them cats got them hoes like all night. We the baddest and we know this. A bunch of thug motherfuckers taking no shit. Y'all Mars can't hang with the wild wild. And got the nerve to try to perpetrate with our style. See, we them players riding out in them 6-4s. Rimmed up, hitting switches, fucking thick hoes. Smoking blunts all night, getting our rocks off. Pissy drunk in the streets till the cops off. See, we untouchable while y'all get that whack shit. It's VIP anywhere that the max sit. So y'all cats better recognize who I be. A thugged out young millionaire from the streets and no
I be rolling down the street, smoking hydro, sipping on gin and juice, gin and juice, gin and juice, baby. I be rolling down the street, smoking hydro, sipping on gin and juice, gin and juice, gin and juice, baby.
I'm from the crew that can't be stopped. Jump in my ride like my car, baby, drop your top. I ain't even on that bullshit. I'm in the full clips. I'm about to stack chips, fuck dips, rock hips. As I ride off the scene on dubs, blow hate and blow me. On my way to the club, I know this beat is hot to death, so I'ma thank Mac Love. We left them corners long ago, but we still rep for the thugs. And I'm like ecstasy when you're next to me. Wild Wild is the only niggas close to me. The only ones that done show me love. I don't think y'all wanna fuck with us.
I be rolling down the street, smoking hydro, sipping on gin and juice, gin and juice, gin and juice, baby. I be rolling down the street, smoking hydro, sipping on gin and juice, gin and juice, gin and juice, baby. Y'all niggas can't fuck with me, nah, you niggas can't fuck with me, y'all.
Hey, let's go. Y'all looking for me? Y'all looking for me? Y'all looking for me? Y'all looking for me? Well, here I is. No, you niggas can't fuck with me. No, you niggas can't fuck with me. Woo! Yeah, buddy. No, you niggas can't fuck with me. Ooh, boy, that's classic Wild Thugs right there, baby. What's good in the hood? I'm back one more again. Hey, in case you didn't know, here I is. What up, everybody? Man, I tell you, it is going down. It is going down. I need to check my phone. Hold on. Let me see here. What that say? Oh, my mic is loud. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can. I wonder why I ain't touched none of my settings. But with that being said, I can just do that a little bit, and actually, I can check it if I do this. So let me do that so I can make sure I'm good. But with all that being said, I hope everybody's having themselves a good night. It's been a lot going on, man. I'm telling you, man, I just been doing so much stuff, and it's like my intention of going live and doing shows is always there. But that ain't always how it works out. So I have been doing all kind of stuff. So I've been this goddamn. Let me tell y'all something. This workout has been kicking my ass, but I can say this: I'm starting to feel myself get on the other side of it. You know, when you ain't been to the gym for a while and you start going consistently, it's like your body gotta die all over again. So there's a part of me that is dying at every workout. And I'm just now have gotten over the peak of my death, and now things are starting to get a little bit better. So y'all keep as they say in the old church, keep me in your prayers. Keep me on the prayer list. But I can definitely feel myself getting better. and I appreciate it a little bit more now than I did before. So, yeah, thank you. How's my son doing? My son is doing amazing. He is doing amazing. Thank you for asking. He his now he just had a doctor's appointment last Monday. He doing good, and the doctor even said, "Hey, we ain't got to see him for like a month now." So he's doing good. Life is good. It's busy, but it's good. And I just been doing family stuff, been doing daddy stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been busy, but it's good. So I thank y'all. I appreciate all y'all. And I must say this, in all honesty, I miss y'all. I miss you motherfuckers. I'm telling you, I miss you. But I'm glad I'm here. I was like, I know it's late. I know I usually at least try to get on by 11, but I said I'm going tonight. Damn it. Hell or high water, I'm going tonight. So here I am. So I felt that this show was really important, and I felt that there was a good I'm not really a fan of, I would really say, you know what? It's not that I'm not a fan of the Breakfast Club. Particularly, I don't agree with half of the shit Charlamagne say. Ain't really got no real problem with DJ Envy, but I just don't like Angela Yee. I think that's my problem with the Breakfast Club. I just don't like her, period. I don't like her. I just don't like her. And I have noticed, and I don't know if y'all have watched this, if you see a show on the Breakfast Club that she ain't on, I shit you not, it's a better show. I'm telling you, I'm not, just trust me. If you see a show where it's just Envy and Charlamagne, it is a better show. Just saying. Now it may be my biasness because I don't like her, but because I just think she is just a whore who promotes whoredom. If that is a word, I don't know, but she in my opinion is just a slutty type of woman, and she promotes it, and there are a lot of young women that follow her, and I just don't like that. I don't like her teachings of slutting and whoring about. I don't. But with that being said, I have come to notice that it's not often that she is just not on there, but if you catch one of those shows where she ain't on there, it's a better show. I'm just saying. It ain't the best show on the internet, but it is a better show. So, with that being said, this was one of the better shows. They actually got through. They had some really good dialogue, and it was to the point to where I said, I need to talk about this. So, and put my 2 cents in, my little ching-ching on it. That's what I needed to do. Hey, shout out to James Hudson. That's what's up. Usually on the Guns, United Guns of America, you dig? All right, I appreciate you coming over here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on tonight. I do want to say this before I get started. I would be remiss if I did not mention this, but if those of you who haven't watched current events lately, you would have noticed that on yesterday, well, actually, 2 big things happened yesterday. Number one, Dak Prescott broke his ankle in like the worst way. And I'm not a Cowboys fan. Everybody knows this. I've been rooting. I'm a 49ers fan ever since back in the day with Joe Montana, Roger Craig, yeah, Ronnie Lott, John Taylor, Jerry Rice. Yeah, I can name them boys. Yeah. I've been a 49ers fan back then. Everybody knows where my heart is. It's in Chicago. Go Bears. 4-1. I'm telling you, my Bears are 4-1, and we have so many holes in our offense. It's ridiculous, but we winning. That's all I can say. We winning. That's all. I say if somebody could run over Aaron Rodgers with a train or something, I don't know how that would happen to him, like back in the old days, time to the train track, let a train run over. We fuck around and win the North. But that's not happening anytime soon. But I'm just saying, not a Cowboys fan. I only halfway rooted for him when Deion Sanders went there after he got that ring with the 49ers in 94. But anyway, yeah, Dak Prescott, that's a bad injury that he got. And in just the history of the NFL, especially when it comes to situations like this, it ain't looking good for him. I don't foresee him getting that big contract that he wanted, number one. And I really, at best, I hope he at least gets the franchise tag, and that'll give him some more money. But man, the worst thing possible that could have happened to him in a contract negotiating year actually happened. He had a season-ending, possibly career-ending injury. And the only good thing he got going for him is that he is young. And there is a possibility that he can make a comeback. But I can tell you this, most people who have that type of injury, you never, ever, ever get back to where you were. Never get back. And it's sad that it was like he wasn't one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he was definitely on the higher end. He's not an elite quarterback, but he was definitely a decent QB. And I liked him as a player. He was fine, but it's sad that what happened to him. So I hope he has a speedy recovery, but if he got to take that 30-something million he got and parlay it into something else, hey, so be it, man. But Godspeed to him. Other thing that happened, the Lakers won their another championship. I believe it's their 17th all-time championship. And for some reason, and congratulations to LeBron James and the Lakers, but for some reason, the conversation has now started to resurface that LeBron James is like on Mike level now. I don't know how and why this keeps happening, but my man Brandon's even 31st in state. I see you over there, player. But I don't know how this keeps happening, but it seems like every time LeBron hits a stat where he, the scoring list, or he gets, some other accolade where he surpassed something. And it seems like every time he makes it to the finals, everybody starts talking about this dude being the GOAT. And I don't understand how we get to this conversation. Is he one of the all-time greats? Absolutely. On most people's list, he may even be second or third all-time greatest player. I don't understand how, and please, I'm going to just be blunt, how a motherfucker who done lost in the finals is now considered to be one of the greats, or the great, I'm sorry, better than Mike. Do you understand what GOAT means, people? GOAT means greatest of all time. With the GOAT status, there are certain attributes you must have. Number one is you must have dominance. Sheer dominance. Not during the regular season, not during this game here, not playing the worst team in the league. No, you must dominate at all times. Period. During your reign, you must be the most dominant player, hands down. Case in point, Muhammad Ali, greatest boxer of all time. Floyd Mayweather, the best ever. But the greatest boxer of all time is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali dominated in his reign. He dominated. He beat the best. He beat the best consistently. He was whooping everybody's ass. Even when they took his belt from him, he came back and whooped some more ass. That's what he did. LeBron has lost too many times. LeBron has choked too many times. LeBron has lost the big one on the big stage too many times. I don't understand why y'all keep bringing this up. Even when y'all talk about him winning his championships, in Miami. He won that shit because of D-Wade. Do y'all not remember D-Wade taking over in those moments throughout those playoffs? He was closing the games. It wasn't LeBron. I don't get this. My other point, when he was in Cleveland, had it not been for Kyrie, he would not have won. Now, I know somebody saying, well, had it not been for Scottie Pippen, Mike wouldn't have won. You're right, and I agree with you. Yes, he needed Scottie. But when there was a big play, a big shot, a big defensive move, a big defensive turnover, who was there? Mike. Who won 6 out of 6? Mike. That's my point. You clearly saw that Mike was the best player on the court at all times throughout that reign. Dominance. That's all I'm saying. Not hating on LeBron. I like him. Since once he went back to Cleveland and won, I ain't got nothing against him. But y'all can't keep making this comparison. Stop it. He is not the GOAT. Will never be the GOAT. He lost twice. That it ain't, well, he been to the playoffs. Well, I'm sorry. He's been to, what's the one they love? He's been to the finals 9 times. The most that I don't give a good goddamn how many times he been there. How many times did he win? He won 4. Fine. And I'm not even one to try to hate and say, oh, well, this season really don't count. Nope. This season do count. It's the season being a short season, a half-cut season, the COVID season, whatever you want to call it. This ain't no more bullshit than it was the season that they had when San Antonio won, when they did that damn strike. Same scenario. Niggas was lazy. Niggas wasn't working out. Niggas was coming up short. That's why Kawhi and them fell off. That's why they fell off. That's why Boston fell off. All these other teams. How the fuck did Miami even come through and get to the finals? Because you got a bunch of lazy-ass players. LeBron outworked all them niggas, so he deserved it. He was the best player in the league this year, hands down, and he showed. I ain't talking about ADO soft ass. Sometime it works, sometime it don't. I ain't talking about him. AD is like them cheap alkaline batteries. What's them batteries called? Cat something or Rayovacs. AD is like a Rayovac battery. Sometime it works, sometime it don't. All you do is pop in another one and hope for the best. But LeBron was clearly the best player this year, hands down. Period. And it showed, and it came out, and he proved it. But he's not, and will never be. He could go win another 4 rings. He ain't gonna be Mike. He's not better than Michael Jordan. He's just not. He's a different type of player, and his achievements, although they are great, I think that I'm gonna say that when you're talking about the GOAT, the only person you can even compare to Michael Jordan is Kobe. That's it. And even Kobe took his L's in the finals. But his dominance was consistent. Way more than LeBron. But I'm just saying, y'all stop it. And then it's some of these haters that's coming back, bringing up and comparing, or not comparing, throwing shade on KD. How are y'all mad at KD for going to Golden State, but you ain't mad at LeBron going to Miami? Miami wasn't no super team. Bullshit. Miami was a super team. What is y'all talking about? They was a championship caliber team before LeBron got there. That team without LeBron was championship quality team. A championship quality team. Period. So stop it. Don't get on this. Oh, he went to a super team. It's been plenty of players that went to super teams. Plenty. So I ain't trying to hear that. Stop hating on KD ring. He got it fair and square and would have got that second one had he not popped that motherfucking Achilles. But it is what it is. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm so tired of these motherfuckers everybody's trying to find the next best thing. And I'm just telling you, when it comes to Mike, he ain't the one. Maybe his son, maybe somebody else's kid. There's a kid right now working out, shooting some jump shots on a basketball court by themselves right now, that probably will be. He's not it. He's all right, but he's not real. Michael Jordan's that deal. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Please stop that. Let LeBron be LeBron. Give him his credit. Give him his due. Give him his love. All of that. Yes, Shaq was on that team too. It was an old Shaq, but it was a Shaq nonetheless. That's all I'm saying. But they don't count that though. They don't want to talk about that. I'm just saying. Let that man be who he is. Let him have his reign. This is his time. He getting it cracking. So was Chris Bosh. Thank you very much. Chris Bosh at that time was arguably he was at least one of the top 3 best bigs in the league. What is y'all talking about? He came from where? Toronto. Why did he come to Miami? Oh, maybe because LeBron had called him. Maybe because D-Wade had called him and told him, hey, we about to make this move, make this run. I'm in. Let's go. It is what it is. I ain't hating on him. If y'all want to get together and hoop, fine. It is what it is. Let this dude have his time, but stop comparing him to Michael Jordan. He ain't Mike. Everybody talk, well, look at the numbers. Yeah, look at the numbers. This nigga been in the game since he was in high school. Mike did 4 years in college. Take 4 years off of the first 4 years off of LeBron's numbers, and then go from that in if y'all want to compare numbers. Y'all want to compare numbers, right? He was there and won a championship in North Carolina. But I'm just saying, don't act like you compare. Look, the time he been in the league, the time he been in the league. LeBron James was in the NBA without 4 years of college under his belt and was able to grow just like he did, just like Kevin Garnett. Look at what Garnett was able to do coming straight out of high school. Come on now. You take them first 4 years off of Garnett's numbers and see how he look. See how LeBron numbers look. Take them off. But ain't no point in doing that because it's still, hey, best player. Now, as far as the tools he got in his tool belt, being an all-around player, absolutely. LeBron would probably be my number one pick after I pick Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. I want somebody like LeBron because he do everything. Everything. I get it, but he's not Mike. Moving right along. My favorite part of the show, let's go ahead, talk to us, baby.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
All righty. So, for those of you who may not have seen this, you're in for a treat because we can watch it together. So was Chris Bosh. It's really low. You talking about my volume of my mic is really low? Let me know. Because I can turn it up. Oh, you're saying, the, whatchamacallit? Oh, yeah, it was low. I got it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Dang it. I had the volume down on this one as opposed to the other one, but I turned it back up. It'll be better next time. Here we go. So, let's go ahead and let's watch The Breakfast Club.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast
Ain't no Angela
Club.
Yee
we got
today.
a special guest in the building. You good? We got a special guest in the building.
That's
Family.
right.
Killer Mike. What's up, brother?
What's up? How you doing, brother? You good?
Doing some big things out there, man.
My brother-
we talk about it all the time. We talk about these financial institutions. We talk about how difficult it is to get money. We talk about how, they don't look at us the same way they look at white people. So you decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just open up my own bank.
The online black-owned bank.
Online black-owned bank. I love it.
So I've been banking black for as long as I've been banking. I have several different bank accounts, but I've never gotten rid of my black bank account because my grandparents thought that was important. Because everywhere isn't like Atlanta, and it's difficult to get black banking in some parts of the country. we know that 64% of people are now banking on their phone and on their computer. So some actually brilliant people and asked to be a part of it. Some
Breakfast Club, I know, start Monty Ringwald. That was a great
what you're
fucking
able
movie.
to do is bank right from your phone, fully banking. What you're able to do is go to a place and get like automobiles, home loans, and it's black folk, man. To be honest, it's just we are protesting things that are happening bad, but we have to start putting money into things that are going to help grow us. And
so what he's talking about is they have established a black-owned bank, and that black-owned bank, I guess, is now online. And I was really impressed by that. I'm like, we always talk about what they done took from us, and Black Wall Street got destroyed, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all of that. But this to me was something to, and I'm actually going to look into this. And even if I do something as small as opening up like a savings account, it would be something just to say, hey, you know, it's a black owned bank, and it's something, even though, and it's online, which is, in my opinion, which is fine. But it's like, because that's where everything is now. Everything is digital. Everything is online. But just to have something like this is a huge start for me. To me, I think that this is something that we should all be interested in as far as just Black Americans. We need to start doing things like this, because it's things like this that, hey, starting this now, what it could become in 5, 10, or 20 years for our children could be something really, really huge. That's all I'm saying. You're talking about an institution that is responsible for loans, mortgages, personal loans, business loans. Those things are paramount when you're talking about establishing and building your own Black community. If we're going to have our own, we want our own thing, we got to have our own cornerstones. And this is definitely one of those. When you're talking about real estate, you're talking about banking, you're talking about your local commerce and all that kind of stuff. This is the kind of thing that we should all be on board with. I don't care what you say. There is no disputing this. This is something that you should be at least look into investing in.
Do that. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud pushing it along, you know.
Do we have young people on the board on the bank as well? Because a lot of times, you know, with some of the other banks, it was so much to get around, and the rates weren't as competitive, and it was a lot difficult to get certain loans. You know, I do a lot in real estate. So are there younger people on the board that understands what's going on in today's market?
Yeah, there's as they get people going, one of their targets is to get into businesses that normally would not be considered by the larger banks. It's more difficult for me, say, for instance, to get a barbershop, because when you look at basically the majority of Americans are going once a month, every 2 months, because they're non-Black. But if you look at one that's owned by Black people, they know not only are Blacks coming on a weekly basis, that we have the ability to, like we doing, we sell shoes, we sell accessories, we do T-shirts. So we're a retail center masquerading as a barbershop. No other bank that's not Black is going to understand that from the same way, because they don't understand we're going weekly. So yes, this does. It has people as young as Bo Young, Andrew Young's son, who's one of the co-founders, a little older than me. I'm involved with it and want to see it grow. Andrew Young, former mayor and ambassador and Dr. King associate. So it's safe, it's stable, and I'm looking forward. In capitalism, having more competition creates a better place for customers. If you want to look for years.
And here's my thing: you don't have to go and take all your money out of Chase, and take all your money out of Bank of America or Wells Fargo and start banking on this online bank. But to just be able to put some of your money here, even if it's something where you just saving, you know, $50 a month or something like that, a savings account, whatever the case may be, doing something like that, even though you think it's small, it does support the bank. It does. Having an account and being able to say, hey, I got this much money in that account. Like I said, whether it's a couple of $100 or a couple of racks, whatever the case may be, having something established and using this is something that could definitely make a huge difference. Period. When you're talking about just, and the fact that it's online means that it's what? It's across the board. It's not just in one single place. You can apply for a car loan or a business loan, whatever the case may be, the same way you would as if you were walking into the bank to do the same type of application. You can do it online here. So why not? If you're going to buy yourself a car and you want to get a car voucher, If you're banking at this bank and you've been there, you got some time there, why not do that? Why not put in an application there to see if you get a better rate, or at least a rate that's along the lines of the standards of the other banks? You got one bank that say if Chase gonna give you a loan for a car and they giving you, I don't know, 7% interest or something, and they giving you 7.6 or they giving you 8, that one extra percent or whatever of interest ain't gonna kill you when you're talking about supporting a black bank. So I'm just saying, it's just something to think about, definitely.
Years ago, when we did a black banking challenge and we took people to a black bank in the physical, all of a sudden, we saw Wells Fargo come out with a $60 million loan program for blacks, not for minorities, not for people who were other than, not one group, specifically for black people. So the more competition we have that helps us, or people that look like us, the better the whole market is going to get. So I say we should welcome this in. People should pivot toward this bank. At least have one or more of your accounts with this bank and start to see that stuff evens out.
He says, how does a thug deposit his cash if it's online? Well, what you do is you deposit that cash into a bank, and then you go ahead and do an electronic funds transfer. That's how you do it. I'm just saying. You can use Zelle. You can use plenty of other type of electronic fund transfers to do that, sir. It's definitely doable. The name of the bank is called Greenfield. Nope, not Greenfield. Greenwood. Greenwood Bank. Greenwood Bank is the name of it.
Wow. They're going to understand your car loan better, your under house loan better, and bigger than that, they're going to understand your business loan better.
Absolutely. Well, how does an online bank work, Mike?
Well, how does online bank work? It works 65% already banking online. So I'm used to going in the bank because I want to see people. My 13-year-old daughter already banks online straight from her phone, you know. So essentially the same way your PayPals and things that work without such heavy fines, you're going to be able to use with this bank. Greenwood, go to www.greenwood.com. You guys are going to enjoy it. So I'm asking people to give it a try. You know, you start off as slow as you want, but as it works better for you, make sure you open up and you start to pivot, because it looks like after this pandemic and things of that nature, people are going to start pivoting more toward money over their phone versus passing out sheets of paper as well.
So Greenwood, was that named after Tulsa?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The neighborhood, a lot of times the way we hear our news disempowers us. So when you hear about the Tulsa, Oklahoma burning, all you hear is we've been victims, and that's absolutely true. But the grand evil, beyond that evil moment in which our town was burnt down, people were killed and forced out, the ultimate evil is they took away the opportunity we had created for ourselves. Black people that were going west and founded the neighborhood of Greenwood and Tulsa, they had founded their own teaching, theaters, hospitals. They had found their own residents. They had found their own way to turn $1 36 times in that community. $1 only stays in our community 6 hours today. And if you look at the results around us, we kind of just take whatever scraps fall off the table. We think that it's time we have our own table with our own chairs, and we have our own house and our own financial institution.
Now, what about rates? You know, because most people say, well, are the rates competitive, or are they just competitive with the other banks and getting loans and things like that?
Yeah, the rates will be competitive. I won't talk details now because we have a banker, and I can send him back to make sure you talk the details. His brother came from one of the largest banks. He had worked at several of them. And it's
Greenwood.com.
When the brother said that he couldn't find black people, the guy from Wells Fargo, he was like, you aren't looking.
He got the wrong damn
here. So we've got many of the brothers that came from the other bigger banks here to help grow this.
It's Greenwood.
What's the benefit of people banking with like a newly established black-owned bank rather than a major corporation?
Well, I say you should always have more than one bank account, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with spreading it around. So I have one with one of the major banks, and I have about 3 with different black banks. It's important because competition is important in capitalism. In capitalism, the more competition you have, usually the better it is for the customer. And you have regional banks that are non-black that are doing well in their particular region. And from a cultural standpoint, I just think it's black people who may be opening businesses that other people don't understand, your loan consideration is going to be different here. I think for black people who are already starting to work off their phone, over 65% are using the phone as their banking source now. I think that there's a grand opportunity here, and we don't have to wait. So technologically, Greenwood is ready, where a lot of black banks are still trying to catch up from a regional perspective. They've come in the game ready and prepared.
Now, so there's not going to be
So that's pretty much how the
actual
website is,
physical
and it's
bank at all. This is all
bankgreenwood.com.
online. So if I want to get my ATM card or my
So
checks, I
let's
have
see.
to wait in the mail. I can't
Go
get nothing
there.
now.
That's the main page.
It's all online.
Pay it forward.
To my
Feed
understanding,
family,
but I can't say
donate
they won't be a brick
nonprofits,
and
small
mortar.
business grants.
That's something I'd like to see too.
We give
But that's something that's
$10,000
still in the
every
planning
month
stages.
to a
But
black
right now, again,
or
like I said, my kids don't go to the regular bank. It's just not a need for them. You know,
Right.
so I think that as old
Features,
as we
full
are,
service
at some
banking in
point
your
we're going to see
hand,
less physical banks,
savings and
period, and
spending
more people
accounts,
doing their
Apple
banking
Pay,
right from their
Android
phone.
Pay,
So this
peer-to-peer
bank happens to
transfers.
be ahead
There
of
you
the
go.
curve. But I would encourage people to not only have one account,
Yep.
to at least have
Mobile
an account
deposit,
and a backup account as well.
community
So whether this
investment.
is your primary or backup, let's make sure we're representing with this bank.
You know, Robert Smith has a 2% plan where he wants to see
This is our time.
Fortune 500 companies donate 2%
So I mean,
of their net
it's at least worth
income
looking at, man.
into black-owned banks. So I want you to answer: how can black banking and black generational wealth, how do they complement each other?
Well, the first and biggest form of generational wealth, and us being Southerners, we understand this, and Envy being in the real estate business, the first piece of wealth you can have as a person who's come up out of middle class or regular poverty even is home ownership. The best thing you can do for the next generation is to buy and own a piece of land. And what black banks give you the opportunity to do is get the home ownership that you deserve by getting a loan with fair rates that you deserve. And then you have something to have equity to borrow against. You have something to leave those that are coming after you.
I need to stop right here because now he's about to start getting into what I really want to talk about. So one of the things he just said was one of the biggest things that we can do is to buy a piece of land. And I can tell you like this, one of the biggest things that I have had to get through as a young man and lessons I've learned, and now that I'm older, one of the biggest things that I had to learn pretty much like on my own was the little bit I know about real estate and how important that is. When you're talking about your financial portfolio, anybody who has a strong financial portfolio, they have a cornerstone of that portfolio is in real estate. You got real estate, you got stock market, but real estate is one of those things that you have to have in your portfolio. And even if it's something as small as just your own home, everybody ain't got to have rental property and all that kind of stuff, even though you should, because when you do have rental property, and you don't have to be into real estate in order to have rental property. You do not have to be a property manager in order to have real estate. Get yourself your home, or get yourself a house, whatever the case may be, that you have a house in your family or something. Talk to a property manager about renting that house. You got some property, you got some land or anything like that. It's not going to cost you nothing, literally nothing, to talk to a property manager about doing something with that property. So if your grandmama and them left your house down in Hopalong, Mississippi, and you living all the way out in California, contact a property manager in that area, have them take a look at that property, see what can be done with it, see what you can do with it, and do something with it, as opposed to just letting it sit there because don't nobody want to go down there and take care of it. Trust me, getting into real estate, it is something that we need to just do. There is no, oh, well, you ain't got to do. You should do that. You should own a piece of land. You should own a home. All of that. If you're not the type of person who is good at owning a home and you just want to rent, you need to rent, and you need to have a property manager take care of a home. Do it. Do it. Or get some land and rent that land out. You can buy some acres of land, or if you got some acres of land in your family, offer that land up to be farmed. Have somebody say, hey, come and grow corn on this land, on this, I got 20 acres. I got 10 acres. I got 5 acres. You can grow corn on it for this amount. And most of the time, you can make at least enough money to where it'll pay for like your taxes that you would have on that land. Just saying. And if it's your grandmama and uncle and them that got it, or your auntie got that land, if they ain't gonna do nothing with it, buy it from them. Tell them to say, hey, give me 2 years of it. Let me work it for 2 years and I buy it from you for 2 years or whatever, or a few years later I buy it from you. Do something where you can obtain some type of land or obtain your own home. Yes, you probably, and even if you're older, you probably by the time it's paid off, you'll probably be old and dead and gone. My house won't be paid off probably till I'm like 75, but I'm gonna give my children a head start. I'm gonna give my children something that my parents weren't able to give me because they didn't know. And then they'll be able to go ahead and say, hey, I have some type of collateral. Mom and daddy left us this house, or mom and daddy left us these houses, whatever the case may be, whatever I've amassed at that time. I know one of the things that I will be leaving to them will be our home. Plain and simple. So that they can go out and do what they need to do for my grandkids and their grandkids. They'll have something. So absolutely, that's a huge thing that we all need to think about and consider. Y'all talk about black folks establishing themselves, black folks getting on their feet. This is definitely the way. Financial freedom starts with and will always start with and have something to do with real estate. It just is. That's just how it goes.
And that's what our grandparents and things have. Now we not only need one to give us that cornerstone, that home loan that begins wealth, we need one that helps build us or understands the type of businesses we're open as well. And I would think that Greenwood is that. So I support.
And just think about it like this: you gotta your grandparents or your parents leave you a home. That home is appraised at $125,000. You need $50,000 for a business. That's your loan right there. You ain't got to sell your house. You ain't got to sell it, but you can take a loan out against it because that house is paid for. Or if you need 50 grand and you got 50 grand worth of equity in that house, you can actually pull that equity out of that house. So instead of half-ass starting a business, or instead of starting a business without having all of the without having the cash flow that you need to start a business, because every business you got to have some type of cash flow. When you do that, having a house, you can actually withdraw off of that. You can draw off of that equity in that house to fund what it is that you're trying to do.
Greatly that there's many black people in finance that have done well, and I'm looking forward to working with them to growing our financial education in our community and making sure that black people can do things like own a home and get home loans, because as turbulent time comes, a lot of time home ownership is the thing that saves families, the cornerstone of them not descending into poverty.
Yep.
I agree with you, but then you'll hear people say, you can't home ownership your way out of poverty, Mike.
Well, I hear people and I see people give us some very dismal statistics, but being from the South, I got to be honest with you guys. I have to look at beyond the statistics and at people in the South. My great-grandparents were sharecroppers. In their lifetime, they got 33-acre farm in Tuskegee. That farm is still in our family today. And although we don't farm on it, a timber company pays us to grow there. So
did you just hear that? He said a timber company pays. They not down there working the land themselves. They ain't tilling the land and all that kind of stuff. But what they're saying is that land that they have, it's actually being used by someone else who's actually paying them to grow timber on that land. They're saying there's a farmer or some type of tree farmer that's saying, hey, I'll pay you this much money every year or whatever if you allow me to grow trees on this land. Fine. So that means that person is taking care of that land, and whatever time, whatever that time frame is, every year that person will cut you a check and say, hey, here you go. Here go your $4,000 or whatever to you let me use this land, or whatever deal you work out to where you can do that.
Every January, me and my cousins and stuff get money because our great-grandparents made that sacrifice. So I want people to understand that right now, not only you're taking care of yourself by getting a home loan, you're taking care of the future by having something to leave for them and strengthening a financial institution that's going to help.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I tell people that all the time. I mean, it might not be something where you see right now, but the family will. Like, I have a couple of properties that I own that I don't necessarily think it'll make me a fortune of money off of it. But I know when I pass away one day, my 5 kids will never have to work because of those properties. You know what I mean? And they will make sure that the family's stable. And we got to continue to do that and continue to teach each other how to do it. And I think what you're doing right now with this bank is brilliant, because one of the hardest things for me coming up was finding lenders, finding people to lend me the money. That was the most difficult thing.
And it's like getting into anything. When you're talking about starting your own business, when you're talking about getting into real estate, those people that want to do, be rehabbers, want to flip properties and stuff like that. The biggest problem that you have, because even when I was attempting to do it, the biggest problem I had was having capital to do it. It's the biggest problem I had, having the capital to be able to do that, having the capital to be able to say, I'm gonna buy this house for $40,000, put 50,000 in it, and then turn around and sell it for 150,000. Yeah, you can do that, but you got to have that initial front money to do it. And it's not too many people that just got that kind of money laying around to where they'll just give it to you and take a chance. That's what a bank is for. That's exactly what a bank is for. If you a carpenter and you got a plan laid out to say, hey, I got this property and I need, my grandmama and them left it to me in the neighborhood that this property is in. The houses are going for this amount. All I need is $34,000 because this is what the actual contractor has spec'd out to say, this is how much I'm gonna need. $34,000 to actually fix this house up. So I'm asking for a loan of $45,000 so that I can make sure I can cover any other incidentals or any other things that may come up so that I can actually rehab this house and then sell it on the market for this amount of money. You got to have that front money to do that. So it's like when you're talking about doing those type of things, you need to have a bank that's going to back you and say, hey, we'll give you a chance to let you do what you need to do. We'll take a chance on you. Let's do what so you can do what you need to. Or we can't give you the whole 45, but we can give you 20. That's the difference in just being able to say, I have a bank that's in my community, but I got a bank that's going to help support what it is that I'm trying to do. Having something like that, it is key to be able to do that. You may have already put in $25,000 or $30,000 of your money, and just need another 12 to get over. I need another 12 to finish this project so I can sell this house. That's what you need a bank for. Yep, Trump has made billions and lost millions on real estate. And it's one of those things where when you're talking about capitalism and how we do things in America, you have to be able to understand that, yes, you may take a loss here and there. It's the consistency piece that makes the difference. Just is. It's the consistency piece that makes the difference. That's what it is. You're going to lose money. You're going to make money, but don't get caught on one or the other, because you have to realize it's a flowing type of thing. It's going to happen. You can flip one property and make $40,000. You can turn around and flip another one and lose $2,000. Happens. Every deal that you make, every deal that you do ain't going to be the deal of the century where you make, I'm making $25,000 a deal. Nope. You might have to make 4 deals at $4,000 a piece to make you 16 grand. Every once in a while, you can get your white Bronco where you make $40,000 or $60,000 on a deal. But for the most part, it's going to be being consistent, slow and steady. And the more that you do it, the more that you can, the more capital you'll have to where you can start saying, okay, my last 10 deals, I made $2,000 each. Now the next 10 deals, I was able to make, $6,000 a piece because I'm doing bigger and better. I got bigger properties now in different areas. So now I can make $12,000 a piece, and you just keep ranking up just like that. But you have to be steady and consistent with it.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you and Caesar too. I know a lot of times it's entertaining when me and you fuss and fight and talk smack and Cameron each other, people like that.
Yes, Marcus, peaks and valleys.
And I, first of all, just like Charlamagne and I, we're friends, we're associates. I love this brother just like I love Charlamagne. And off camera, Envy and I are always talking real estate. Caesar is one of his partners, and Caesar's constantly keeping me in contact, and we're going to do business. We've done some cool stuff together. So I want to encourage people that beyond the entertainment aspect of it, let's make sure that we're doing things to cooperate to try to help one another. Because Envy doesn't want to see me sing and dance the rest of my life because I have to. He'd like to see me independently wealthy and being able to take care of my kids so I can choose how much singing and dancing I want to do. So I wanted to take time to appreciate you, Envy, for that.
Thank you, brother.
As much as people love to see us go back and forth, they need to know that we work in cooperation and you're trying your very best to make sure that artists in particular are doing well. So I want to thank you and Caesar, Danny, who's the builder, and all those guys. I've learned a lot from your circle. I appreciate you.
I like when y'all fuss. I like to see the light-skinned, dark-skinned back and forth. I love it. I don't know what y'all talking about. I learned from that, too.
Hey, what's crazy, though, my dad could be
Yeah,
my
that's him
dad
that
likes
did that.
to
That
way
ain't me.
to hell, man. So
My
I'm popping out
intellect
the
is
pit
all
on my
good.
side of the color, man.
And it's like, this was my thing too, in case you haven't noticed. Without Angela Yee being there, doesn't it seem like it's a lot less distraction? They are actually like making points. They are asking questions. They are actually doing shit, and it makes it's like more of a build that they're doing. It. They're actually getting somewhere. It's not the distraction of some dumb shit with, I would just like to say that, and then we could, and then I would also like to say, you don't hear none of that shit. These guys are having a good time. You can see that, but they're making great conversation. The show is actually flowing. They are talking. They are being, hey, they being good brothers. Ain't no arguing or whatever the case may be. Even if there was a situation where they were disagreeing or whatever the case may be, but that's not happening here. But they are actually like having a good conversation. And I noticed that today when I was watching it, I was like, man, they are really like chopping it up for real. It's as if they're like sitting in a barbershop talking or something like that, and they're just literally making good points.
How do you anticipate making it easier to access loans for black people with Greenwood?
Well, when you look at the guys at the top that were like Ryan Glover, when you look at guys like Paul Judge, Paul made a fortune in tech. Ryan comes out directly out of music and television. So Ryan was one of the founders and operators of Noontime Music. And then he went on to found Bounce TV and sell Bounce TV. So he's been successful at the endeavors he's done. And he understands the difficulty of black biz and minority biz in particular getting funding. So from the ground up, you have a person or the president or founder of this bank that has literally coming out the same ranks that people are going to be coming from looking for home ownership. But before we get to business ownership, before we get to business, let's look at this. First steps, let's get some deposits in and let's grow. Second step is let's get some home loans and auto loans going. And then the next step, let's look at businesses that are successful in the community and need an injection of capital to grow. Perfect example, although they didn't put the capital behind this business, is a business called, it's owned by Pinky. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a vegetarian restaurant here.
Oh,
and this is like
Slutty Vegan. I'm sorry. Yeah, my wife don't let me say slutty as much as I used to.
And this is like the thing too. Mr. Chahua said that's why rich white parents set up trusts for their kids and they put stipulations on the trust. And I guess one of the biggest things is too, you have to realize that one of the biggest investments or first investments that you make as far as being broke, being a poor family, like if you broke right now and you talking about being able to build a legacy for your children and your grandchildren, one of the first investments that you make, aside from real estate, before you can get to buying your house, one of the first investments that you make is life insurance. Life insurance. One of the first investments that you make is life insurance. Life insurance, and I ain't talking about no $5,000 plan. I'm talking about making that investment in life insurance. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit more, getting a 10 or 20 year plan or whatever the case may be. But getting a life insurance plan will help lay the foundation for your generations that come after you. Because what it does is, number one, it allows them to bury your black ass. And like me, I'm the type of person, you can don't waste that money on no box. Put me in an urn, spread my ashes somewhere. If you gonna put me in a grave in a box, make it a pine box. Get the cheapest thing they got. It's going in the ground, and you ain't gonna see it before a couple of hours, and that's it. If you want to rent a casket, fine by me. But my body ain't gonna care one way or the other if it's in a gold casket or if it's in one that's made out of a pine plywood. But you take that money, even if it's for something as little as $100,000, $50,000, something like that can help get your family in the right direction to actually start a business, to actually invest in some real estate, to take $50,000, spend $5,000 to put your ass in the ground, and then take that other $45,000 and put it towards buying a house, buying some land, getting something that you can actually say, hey, this is going to be ours, starting a barbershop, starting a business, whatever the case may be. Having something like that, it makes all the difference. One of the biggest things that a lot of people do, even when you have kids, when you get kids, you got your 3-month-old, 4-month-old, 6-month-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, get a whole life policy on your kids now while they're young. It only costs you something like $20 a month or something like that. You spend more on your hair and nails and coffee at Starbucks than you do on a whole life, not term life. Term life is that 10-year joint or the 20-year joint. Whole life policy. That means you pay on it for 25 years, and once you pay on it for 25 years, it's there, and it's theirs. You can get you a $25,000 policy, a $30,000 policy, $50,000 policy, because once that policy is paid for, in case you didn't know this, you can even in some cases take a loan out against that policy. You got $25,000 whole life policy. Your kid is that you took out on your kid when they was born, and they turn around and now they 27 and they out of college and they got their business that they trying to start, and they need $10,000 for that hair salon, or they need $10,000 to help start their doctor or dental practice or something. They can actually take a loan out against that whole life insurance policy that you got for them when they was 3, and they can actually use it. And the policy is still there. So just saying, that's one of the things that you can do. Life insurance is huge. When you get it set up to where, hey, you died, and I'm going to tell you this, it may sound bogus, but it's the truth. For those of you who got these kids that's out here in these streets, these young black boys, young black girls, they out here thugging, everybody that's out there on old block, get y'all some insurance on your kids. You know they living that life. They living the life of a gangster, a thug, a shooter, killer, whatever the case may be. Get you an insurance policy on them. Get you an insurance policy on them. I ain't talking about no little $5,000. You got a little 17-year-old that's out here about that life. You can get you a $75,000 or $100,000 life insurance policy on them in case shit do go left. I know it may sound bad, but that's the reality of it. Shit go left, you can motherfucking at least get something out of it to where you can actually do some type of good with that money. They may be moving bricks and pounds and all that shit now, but later on down the line, you can have something. And more than likely, if they out here in them streets, they got kids. So you can take a $200,000 policy and put $100,000 up for their kids, for your grandkids' college. Yeah, well, when your daddy got shot down in 2018, I know this is 2028 now, or 2038, but now you got money for your college. I put that money in the savings account that I got from this life insurance policy, and I can put you in college now, so you can get up out this hood. I take $100,000 to get up out the hood, and put $100,000 for you to go to college.
So my wife and Pinky are very good friends, but Pinky got an injection of capital, and where she had an idea that might have took 15, 20 years to build out, the injection of capital has allowed her to open up multiple restaurants now, multiple food trucks, which puts her in multiple places so she can grow faster. So I hope that this bank, Greenwood, will be able to find the next slutty vegan, the next needed thing in the African American community and help it grow because it understands from the African American's perspective as well. More African Americans are eating plant-based diets than any other group of people now. So it's extremely intelligent and had a lot of foresight for Pinky to do that. And they're looking for other businesses to inject capital.
So what would it take to make Greenwood like become a widely trusted, acknowledged bank like a Chase or a Bank of America?
And see, like the thing is, Mr. Chow,
Well,
he said we paid like $3,000 for my grandmother's casket just to have it cremated. Thinking back, that was crazy. Yes, it is. But that's why it's so important for us to plan that shit out. Because when you do pass on, when you do die, you die in a plane crash or you just die old age, have your shit laid out already. Because when you do die, your loved ones that have to bury you, they can be grief-stricken. They can be, just going through that grieving process. You don't always make the best decisions. You just don't. And when you already have everything planned out, they ain't got to worry about it. This is what grandma wanted. This is what mama wanted. Mama wanted. This is what uncle such and such wanted. This is what daddy wanted. This is what mama wanted. It's already done. I want this casket. I want this cremation. I want this pine box. I want this dress. I want this suit. I don't want no shoe. You ain't got to deal with none of that because it's already done. Yes, it may. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to have if you care about your children, have your plans already made. So they won't have no argument. You don't want your kids arguing and fussing and fighting over who's supposed to have this, who's supposed to have that. Oh, daddy want to be in a black suit. No, daddy want a green suit. Daddy need to be buried in gators. Y'all ain't love daddy. I love my daddy. So look, here's what he said he wanted. Let's honor his wishes. He said, put him in a pine box. We're going to put him in a pine box. Just like, said, wrap him up in a shawl and put him in the oven. Put him in this can, this Folgers can. That's what he said he wanted to do. Let's do it. Spread his ashes out along I-57 or spread his ashes out or at the ocean. Whatever the case may be. Just do it. Daddy wanted to be buried in his Cadillac. Fine. That's all I'm saying. Plan that stuff out so your children and your loved ones and those that you're leaving behind won't have to. Because they will make terrible decisions like spend $8,000 on a casket that's going in the ground when they could have rented one for $300 or however much it costs.
It takes Greenwood doing a good job and being dedicated toward doing a good job. It's also needed that customers should come. So if you look at the Bank of America started as the Bank of Italy, right? And it was a bank set up for the Italian immigrants that were coming here. And as it grew and as it got acquired other places, it grew into the Bank of America. It's important that we as Black people start to see ourselves as the foundation for our next generation. No matter how or bad we've done, we are.
Who knew that? Who knew that? Who knew that this bank, that the Bank of America started out as the Bank of Italy, which was set up for the immigrants that came over from Italy? Had no clue.
Are the foundation. So we have to take money more seriously. So for me, I would love to see a mass exodus of other banks and a flood to Greenwood. But if the mass exodus doesn't happen, let's focus on getting customers there, providing top tier service, and then getting those customers to use testimonials to bring all of us there. I would say that Black people need to understand too, that you don't have to be married to one bank account. So what I did as a child, kept my childhood bank with a Black bank. As I went to bigger banks in terms of getting into music, what I did was still keep certain savings, certain funding for my kids, get with them an account. I've always kept that at a Black bank. So I would encourage people, if you're going to keep a major bank, and I know the temptation to do that, make sure you start a secondary account with a Black bank that's national, like a Greenwood, as I think that your needs will be fulfilled. Even if you just save your Thanksgiving or Christmas money there, that's going to start to help that bank grow in notoriety. Then you have small business people with the ability to now get loans that they wouldn't have gotten, and you get to see overall growth in not only the Black bank, but a stronger economic community where a dollar will turn longer than 1 or 2 times.
Absolutely. Why should a white person bank Black?
A white person should bank Black because banking Black, like banking any other bank, is safe if the bank is Black. What I loved about white people and our allies is when we started black banking as a result of policemen killing people in the streets 4 or 5 years ago, and this is even prior to Greenwood. I said simply, black people as a form of protest should pool their money, go in the bank. And what I was most impressed by is when we went to a black bank, white allies showed up. People that do business with the black community moved their business accounts there. People who support black music showed up. So it wasn't like we had to tell white people. White people have conscience, white people have minds, and white people want good rates and convenience. So if I'm white on one level, if I have black friends, I know this is a way of supporting their community. And on a selfish or personal level, I'd like a bank in terms that's online that has compatible rates or better rates, and I have the ability to
Let me go ahead and say this. So Angry Man, for a reason, he said this. He said, why do we have to question what Killer Mike's bank when we blindly trust everybody else? We don't question them. This is one of our biggest problems. And I'm going to say this. It's twofold. Number one, do black folks have fucked up customer service? Yes. Absolutely they do. But they all don't. And a lot of times they don't know how to give customer service. So how do we fix that? Number one, we support them, but then we also correct them. We also give them feedback. When I go to a restaurant and I have a great experience, I tell the owner, whether it's a soul food restaurant or if it's the whitest of the whitest restaurant, Shea Whitey's, either one, I let them know. When I go to a restaurant and have a bad experience, I let them know. I don't like to be the person that always complains, so that's why I give positive feedback. So when I do give negative feedback, it's not a thing of me just being negative. It's a thing of me saying, hey, I'm critiquing you so that you can get better. That's just it. That's it, and that's all. Just last week, I had a bad experience at Chick-fil-A. And it turned out that the person who was there that I was talking to turned out to be the shift manager. And I lit into his ass. I was like, look, man, I said, this is unacceptable. I said, I come to Chick-fil-A because of the outstanding service. I said, I've been out here waiting for some Chick-fil-A for 22 minutes. I've never had to do this. I understand that y'all may be busy. I understand that y'all might have a lot going on. It's your responsibility to make sure that your store is properly staffed to handle the traffic. Y'all know that this Chick-fil-A is always popping. You should have enough people working here to where you can get it done. And you know what the young white boy said? You're right, sir, and I do apologize. Now, he still fucked up because he didn't offer some kind of way to compensate me. So I'm going to call corporate on his ass and tell him, you don't inconvenience a customer and then don't try to at least ask or give the opportunity to compensate that customer with something. I don't give a goddamn if it's a free lemonade or if it's a free meal. It don't matter. You take care of your customers, especially when it's your fuck up. Staffing, labor, that's on you. You should know your business to where you know what's going on. It wasn't like this was Black Friday and I'm at Chick-fil-A trying to, no, this was an average day and it was doing the same after work hours like it always is. You drive past that Chick-fil-A at the same time, Monday through Friday, that line gonna be the same. You need to have enough people here to take care of that. So you have to be able to give that positive feedback and that negative feedback. Because when you do go through there and you have a great experience, hey man, I like the way you're running your shop. Y'all took care of me like you always do. I appreciate you. Thank you. That person was really nice. That person did a good job. That's what you need to do. Because when you don't, you could continue to perpetuate bad customer service. And you don't have to be pissed off. Just have a conversation. Hey, look, last time I came here, I had a great experience. There was no problems. There was no issue. My waiter knew the menu very well, made some great recommendations for us. I really liked what you're doing here. Thank you guys so much for a great dining experience. Here's a great a tip to show how appreciative I am. Let's keep it moving. But a lot of times, will bitch and moan and complain, try to get every goddamn thing free, and then will not even tip the standard 15% or 18%. We gonna tip your ass $2. Throw some change on the table because that's all I got in my wallet or in my purse, and then walk off. Ain't nothing, I'm telling you, ain't no bigger pet peeve of mine than going to a restaurant with somebody and the tip comes or the check comes and you don't tip what you're supposed to, if not more. If I have a bad experience, I'll tip 15%. Good experience, great experience, good experience. On average, I'm at least 18 to 20%. If I have a great experience, a great time, y'all laid it out, then hey, we talking 25, whatever the case may be. But if I have a terrible time, I'm going to at least give the standard of 15%. Because people got to eat. And if you feed people, if you take care of people, in my experience, when you take care of people, they will eventually take care of you. Especially when you're talking about service. So we definitely need to support a black-owned bank, a black-owned business, whatever the case may be. And yes, there are going to be times when they fuck up. But that's your opportunity to correct them. And you don't always have to be an uber bitch. You don't always have to be the asshole. Sometimes you just need to think about it as if you're coaching your kids. Sometimes you have to think about it to where you just want to say, I want you to get better. So what can I tell you in order for you to become better? Next time when I walk into the store, speak to me. Next time you see me standing here in line and ain't nobody said nothing to me, it's been at least 30 seconds, say hello and you will get to me as soon as you can, as opposed to just letting me stand here, looking like a dumbass.
To bank anywhere from my phone. That's one of the appeals of Greenwood. So no matter what color you are, you should be banking Greenwood. But in particular, I would say Black people in the Latinx community need a banking institution that understands their unique concern.
I was going to ask, so is the bank ready for all operations? So can let's say somebody wants to call right now for a auto loan, or somebody's looking to buy a house right now and they need a pre-approval or they needed approval. Is the bank fully operational for underwriting and everything? Is it ready to rock and roll?
The bank will launch officially in January. Right now, you can line up to go to www.bankgreenwood.com. You can start to pre-register for your accounts, and then come January, not only will you be able to deposit, they'll start the programs of loans too. But I don't know the full. Again, we have to bring me and the actual bankers back. I don't know the full steps to doing that, but there will be a vendor.
All right.
You know, Mike, before you go, I want to ask you a couple more questions. I got to ask you about Brian Kemp. I saw Brian Kemp in the swag shop. And,
yes, absolutely.
You know, folks was upset about that. They was upset that you went to go meet with him at the governor's house. Why are conversations with folks like Brian Kemp important to you?
Well, let me say more people were ecstatic about it, right? Mm-hmm. So the people that show up online and complain are rarely the people that you actually see in the field working.
That's right.
There's a woman named Tafani who used to work at Equimini Records. She's a brilliant sister. She has an advertising company now. She and I are in the process now of helping the state program, well, actually a nonprofit, fill 70 seats. There have been 70 seats open for Black boys in my zip code, my old zip code, and other zip codes that are focused on Black boys that have been trying to get Black boys in the trades program. They haven't had a celebrity or pushers to someone to say these slots are available. First step is we're going to get those 70 slots filled. Well, what does that mean? The average intern for a trade comes out making $71,000 to $81,000 a year. So if you look at the ability of a young man or a young woman to go to trade school for 18 months to come out making in excess of $70,000, what you have created is a stability factor that's not there now. You have a young father who all of a sudden is able to take care of his children, a young mother and father who are able to get married because they're not worried about if she will lose governmental programming, things of that nature. So that's a big deal. The next step is the governor put me on with the head of all trades in Georgia, and we are going to be creating an advertisement campaign and a campaign of some sort to push younger people into the trades. Georgia will be growing the next 20 years. We're building a huge seaport down in Miami, down in Savannah, Georgia. We're doing a huge, 8 companies have moved here. This is the third most Fortune 5 companies of any state in the union. So there's going to be a lot of building, and people are going to need electricians, plumbers, floor layers, and that's going to be 20, 30 years of work. So if we're suited for that, and if we're ready for that, our community will grow.
And that's the thing. It's like when you're talking about one of the things that got taken out of the schools, especially our schools in the hood and the public education system, one of the things that were taken out, and it started happening when I was in high school. So you're talking about from 88 to 92. 1991, I believe, is when they started taking those trades out of the schools. They ended auto shop, then they ended wood shop, they ended electrical shop, electrician, whatever. They ended wood, it was wood shop, auto shop, and the electric joint, the electrician shop or whatever. Electronics, that's what they called it. Those things started getting taken out of the school. And you know why? So that people wouldn't have trades. So we wouldn't have trades. We had to go and home economics. They took that out too. And they also took out cosmetology. We had in my school at Julian, they had cosmetology and they had home economics, to where you could go to cosmetology and you would have like your basic stuff done, even to the point to where you were doing your those floor hours, where you were doing that in high school. So by the time you got out, you was ready to take your test and get your certification. Not your certification, but your license. They took it out. They took all that stuff out of the schools. And it was crazy and then we didn't understand it, but the kids loved it. The kids loved being in that stuff. I was actually coming to school. I was skipping I was a freshman then, I believe. I was skipping first period gym because gym was at 7:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't want to take a shower, first of all, because that gym, that goddamn locker room was nasty in the motherfucker. I didn't want to take a shower, but the coach would actually mark me there, and I was going to auto shop for first period instead of going to gym. Every day I would go and I would hang out in the auto shop class and learn. The first time I got to use an acetylene torch was at Julian in auto shop. They had an old car that they had stripped, and the only thing that was left was the frame, and they were cutting the frame. They were cutting the car into pieces to where they could literally like junk and get rid of it. And we had to cut the car into 4 pieces and then cut the 4 pieces into smaller pieces. And that's what we were doing. And I actually learned how to use an acetylene torch in auto shop. It's like those are the kind of things that you learn. And that gave me a thirst to like, I want to learn how to do something. Like, I want to learn how to actually do some shit. I just don't want to just sit around and just be like, yeah, I'm just here. And then one of the things when they started getting rid of the other shops, one of the things that I started taking was AutoCAD. I was one of the first ones when we got computer aided drafting in our school. I was in there killing the game. One of the best to do it. We were so good, the cats and that I was rolling with, we were so good in our AutoCAD class that we were actually getting paid by architects to actually do draftsman work in AutoCAD. That's how good we were. They were paying us to do the draftsman work, the work that you would pay a draftsman. A draftsman is pretty much a guy that does the plans and does all the stuff that actually lays out the blueprints. A lot of people don't know that. An architect is the person who actually like draws up and designs the shit. A draftsman is the person who actually puts it to plan, actually puts the plans where you see the measurements and all of that, know that this is 3 feet, that's 8 feet, and he lays all of that out. So when you roll out that blueprint, that's what a draftsman does. And I was in class doing that. I was in that class, and I took mechanical drafting, I took architectural drafting, I took basic CAD. I learned from the T-square and the table. I had the T-square, the table, and the pencil. I learned that. I did it all. I killed the game in architecture. I was really good at it, but I wasn't prepared to do it because I didn't have the math background. I didn't have the art background. But I'm just saying that they took that stuff out of the schools, and that's the stuff that we need in schools, because everybody ain't gonna go and be the next Bill Gates. Everybody ain't gonna go and learn how to be a dentist or whatever. There are a lot of us that are good at working with our hands. There's nothing wrong with being a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber. There's nothing wrong with any of that. You make great money. Because all of these fancy, smart people don't know how to change tires. They don't know how to change oil. They don't know how to put a light bulb in their light when the tail light go out. They don't know. And they will gladly pay you to do it because they got the money to do so.
If we're not, they're going to import people there, and our community will stay deserts in terms of food, money, shelter, and things of that nature. And we simply can do better than that if we invest in the trades now. So I appreciate the governor for meeting with me. I appreciate the governor for keeping his word and coming by the shop and supporting. He said he had a great haircut. But I appreciate him most of all for what he's trying to do and making sure getting a trade is easier in the state of Georgia. And Black people, people who are poor and disenfranchised, or people who are working class, get an opportunity to step up out of their class and into the next class.
What makes me mad about when people come at you over stuff like that is like, I don't care who I see Michael Render talking to. I know Michael Render. And I know whoever he's talking to, he's speaking on behalf of the Black community. So does it ever get discouraging seeing how Black people come at you for having those meetings?
Well, you know my wife. You know my wife is from the housing projects in Savannah. Her family is one of them Geechee families that own land in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So she never lets me forget my job. She say, "Boy, your job is singing and dancing. Don't ever forget that." and whatever you do on your off days, you try to help. And sometimes people are going to appreciate it. Sometimes they're not. And I can understand people's misconception or perception, but that's not going to stop me from doing the work. I have been working in my community since I was 15 years old. That's 30 years of work. And I've worked at Kids for a Change, Atlanta Fulton Commission on Children and Youth, Black Teens for Advancement. I've organized with organizations as diverse as the ADL and the NOI, depending on what we were organized around. So for me, I'm just here to help my people in any way possible. I'm going to do that with or without your critiques. I'm going to do it before and after social media. So it doesn't much matter their criticisms. My only criticism of them is I never see you criticizing next to me while I'm doing the work. So if you want to critique me, ultimately, show up at Bankhead Seafood when me and T are feeding 500 families along with Paul kids. If you want to judge me, show up on the ground when I'm campaigning for people like Kwanzaa Hall to fill John Lewis's congressional seat. You know, that's my thing. So I don't mind being critiqued. I just like to see you there sweating doing the work, and then we can have a philosophical debate, not from the comfort of the air condition of our home.
Yeah, I know people don't like Brian Kemp because they said he was actively engaging in voter suppression against
let me say, Georgia's had over 100.
Here's my thing, Gent H. So Gent H says, maybe I missed this, but it's weird how they talk about Black this and Black that, but on the website they talk about Latinx. To what point does that? What is the point behind that? So are you saying that if these guys are starting a Black bank, are you saying that they don't want Latin money or Latin bank account holders? Are you saying that they don't want white bank account holders? The thing about it being Black isn't just for it to be Black exclusively. It's just for us as Black folks to bank there in addition to whatever other banking that he's talking that we do. Because it's an online bank. It ain't starting until January, but it's something to start with us. Just like he said earlier, talking about Bank of America. Bank of America was at first called the Bank of Italy, and it was set up for Italian immigrants that came over to America. And then it became Bank of America. I'm quite sure that throughout that time, some white people, Black people, Latin people had to have banked there in order for that bank to get as big as it is. So if it is something where this bank say, if they do say they talk about Latinx, there's nothing wrong with that. If this is a Black owned bank that they are trying to get started, why wouldn't you want Latin, Asian, white, or whoever else? I don't get that. Why wouldn't you want that in there? So it's like, I understand what you're trying to say, but Black owned ain't just Black only. It also takes to the point to where everything that we say, about black this and black that, black this, black that, the minute the tables are turned and it's a white something, white whatever, it's all automatically racist. We need to stop being those people that try to exclude everybody from what we want to do. And then if anybody else want to do something that's exclusive for them, we call them racist. I understand, but in this instance, this ain't about just us. This is business. And as a businessman, you shouldn't be just pigeonholed to doing business with a particular group or particular people of color. Business is business. If I'm selling whatchamacallit, I may have made it with black folks in mind, but I'm not going to say this is only for black folks. This is for everybody because I want to sell it to everybody because I'm a businessman. It's just like white folks who buy hip hop. Do you think that these rappers are saying, we don't want white people listening to our music and buying our music? Hell no. They can buy it all they want. Think about the Asians that love, think about the rappers that go over to Asia and make a killing in concerts, make a killing going over there selling their music. Think about the people that go over to other countries in Europe and in Germany. Listen to them rappers talk about how much money they make going over there. When I was rapping about being on the block, now I got people over in other countries wanting to listen and buying my music. Same thing. So I get what you're saying, but when you're talking about business, you don't ever want to pigeonhole yourself to what you're saying and to say that, hey, this is something. If I'm trying to include other people for the purpose of business, I think it's the best move you can make. The whole thing is, as far as making it and talking about it being black owned, it is to make it to where this bank is one of the cornerstones of black financial freedom, where black folks will bank here in addition to other banks, but they will also bank here. Because when it comes time for that banking investment, for those people to give you a car loan, give you a house loan, give you a business loan, for whatever it is you're talking about, you now have some type of in or some type of edge to actually achieving that goal. When it comes time to where, because some banks take chances on people. They just do. Dude comes in there, you can have your business plan all laid out. You can have your ROI set up and say, this is what I'm projecting over the next few years. But it's ultimately going to come down to, do I have faith in this guy or not? If I'm the banking manager or the loan supervisor or the loan manager, it's going to come down to that. And that's why you want to have your own bank so that you can say, yeah, I'll take a shot. I'll take a chance. It's not about just singling them out. It's about making something for us that is something that can be for everybody. But it's primarily started for us because it's owned by us. Just like I've been, just like in black barbershops. There are some white folks and some Hispanic folks that go get their hair cut in black barbershops. With the type of hairstyle that they have, and most black barbers can cut white people's hair or Hispanic people's hair, that's straight hair. They can cut it. So it's the same thing. It's not something to where it's just for them or just for everyone. It's something that's saying, hey, this is started by us. And even though everybody ain't going to jump on this, we at least want us to jumpstart it. That's what it is. That's how we should look at this. It's not a thing to where we only want black folks to bank at this black bank. No, what they're saying is we're starting something as some black men, black brothers, some black folks for black folks. We want everybody to take a part of it, but we want us to be the ones to jumpstart this thing. We want us to be the Italian immigrants that jumpstarted the Bank of Italy. And yes, it may have been funded by the mafia, but that's neither here nor there. We can take that Chief Keef money, we can take that Big Meech money and do the same goddamn thing.
40 years Democratic governor, right? The system that allowed for him to cheat, if you believe he cheated, has been in place 140 years. I would argue that system robbed Andy Young of being the first black governor. So my question becomes, do I waste the next 4 to 8 years while he's governor complaining, or do I engage in my current governor and then attempt to change that system? Systemic racism is what you're trying to fix and change, right? So systemic cheating in politics is what so I would encourage Georgians, because this is all that really matters in terms of governorship. I would encourage Georgians to engage their governor, because he is the governor. That you ain't like you're gonna unseat him. To engage him with the thoughts and concerns of your community and the greater community, and then I would say, see how you can change the system that the Secretary of State does not oversee, if you're really passionate about that. But if you're only mad about the last election and you ignore the fact that there's a 140-year system that allowed for this, then you're not doing the credit that you think you're doing in terms of making sure it never happens again, if you believe that's happened. Right now, I have the governor I have, and I have thoughts and missions on what I can improve my community, and that's what I'll do. And lastly, I'd like to say about that, John F. Kennedy, who's on everybody's grandmother wall, we looked at him as a progressive Democrat, was not in favor of signing the Civil Rights Bill. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a confirmed Dixiecrat.
That's right.
Right? We knew what he was. He didn't care much for you if you wasn't working for him. He is the person that signed the bill because the pressure from the African American community made him do that.
And he was so racist that he actually called it the nigger bill, but he still passed it.
And here's one of the biggest things that I liked about this whole conversation. Talking about what politicians, whether you like them or not, it ain't about I like them and I want them to like me. It's about saying, what is it that you can do for me? And what is it that I can get from you? And it be a mutual deal. It being a mutual relationship. It's not about you have to be my best friend and you have to make me feel good and you have to not be racist. It's about saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want, or this is what I have to offer. And this is what I'm willing to accept. That's what this is about. I don't know where black folks got the mentality of saying we want our politicians to like us and to love us above all. I don't care if you don't do nothing for us, but you sure better be good to us. Make us feel good. That's the thing that we need to start changing. This is about business. Politics is essentially the distribution of power. That's it. And when you want something changed, you need to actually know the system that you're dealing with, and you need to learn how to work the system. That's it. You want to change the system? Fine. Learn how it works first, then you change it.
He still passed it.
Hey, as long as you pass the bill, you can call this shit whatever you want to. Just give me a fair opportunity to compete in the working place so I can get banked up like DJ Envy and take care of my next 2-3 generations.
There you go. That's what we all got to do.
You brought up Lyndon B. Johnson, and I keep saying that if, people say, they like to say, oh, Barack Obama was JFK. If Barack was JFK, then Joe Biden potentially has the opportunity to be a Lyndon B. Johnson. Do you see that?
Now, I was surprised that he let that even come out of his mouth. Cause one of the things that I thought about too, it said, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if a lot of these wealthy black folks are in the closet Trump supporters. Because for him to if he's so-called liberal and he's supporting the Democrats, for him to put that type of idea out there to say he could be like Lyndon Baines Johnson, that was like, maybe he does understand what's going on and is trying to see things from a different perspective. Because in my opinion, that was a huge, huge, huge statement to make if you supporting Biden.
Well, before we get to Biden, let's say our current president, Trump, have read his platinum package. My question to the Democrats is, why haven't you countered that? Because there were some things on there were pretty impressive. When you talk about adding 3 million jobs to the African-American community, financial support of 500,000 black businesses, and potentially $500 million. $500 billion as an injection into our economy, that's powerful. And what I'd like to say is coming out of the street background in urban radio, many of us have known street people, right? Street people get over their prejudices real easy when it's a drought and somebody got the lowest price.
Goddamn right.
You get.
Hey, and that is my thing. And this was probably one of the biggest points about this entire conversation. Y'all hear this? Ain't it kind of funny how everybody that is talking about how we need to get Trump out of office, all of that, Trump is the devil, Trump is the race. Do you realize that everybody from the Democratic Party, everybody that supports the Democratic Party, everybody that's going to be voting for Biden and Harris, do you realize that all of them that are supporting them, they can't tell you shit that they're going to do that's better than Trump? And that's what he just said. Y'all talking about this platinum deal. Y'all talking about how the platinum deal is bullshit. It's this and it's that. Where is y'all deal if y'all got such a better plan for us? If y'all got such a better opportunity for us? Because that Green Deal shit, it's going to put a lot of motherfuckers out of work. But where is that part of this saying, well, if what Hugh's saying is that his shit is so terrible, where is this wonderful thing that you have for me at? And how come y'all ain't laying that out? If I have a better solution for you, if I have a better thing for you, I would be promoting that and telling you to say, hey, you need to get with this because this is better than that. And here's how, if that's really the case. Unless I just don't want you to be a part of that because that ain't this. Just think about that. I'm talking about, you talking about somebody, Trump has been in office for 3 years now. And you're talking about all of the shit that people say that don't like Trump. All they do is talk about Trump. They don't talk about shit that they're going to do. But you know what I do hear coming from the Democrats? I do hear that they're going to take our guns. I do hear about gun control. I do hear that they're going to try to stop everything that Trump did. I do say here that they go, what we got to do first is we got to repeal what Trump did as far as this. What we got to do first is repeal what Trump did about that. What we got to do first is we got to roll back what Trump did. What the fuck are y'all going to do that should have me voting for y'all? Because all you doing is pointing at Trump and saying he's bad. Don't vote for bad. Vote for us. We're good. Okay, well, what good are you going to do? We're not going to be him. What? If what you have for us is so good for us, you would lay those things out and have it to where everybody can clearly see the good in what you're going to have for us and what you're going to be able to do that's actually able to happen, as opposed to it just being, well, we not him. And they all do it. Biden does it. Harris does it. Anybody that's supporting any of them, all they do is talk about Trump. And that is a key indicator. When that it's just like ladies, if you dating a nigga and all another nigga that's trying to date you do is talk about what that nigga doing, as opposed to talk about what he can do for you and proving what he can do for you, that nigga's full of shit and he's literally just mad because that nigga with you and you not with him. Think about it. Ladies, think about it like this. What do you think about a nigga that all he do is talk about the nigga you with? Yeah, that nigga there ain't shit. You see how he treat you? You see how he talk about you? You see how he do? If I was your man, I wouldn't do that. If I was with you, I wouldn't be like that. That's all the nigga saying. Ain't showing you shit. Ain't got a goddamn thing. He just want to be in that spot that other nigga in. So all he doing is throwing shade on that nigga. And just think about it. Ladies, when y'all here listening to a nigga like that, what do y'all think about that nigga? Like, nigga, you whacked in a motherfucker. All you doing is just talking about this nigga. You ain't showing me shit. You ain't got shit better than this nigga. All you can do is just talk about this nigga. That's all it is. So it's like, and that's exactly what they're doing. They ain't offering you shit. But the same shit they've been offering you, which is fucking nothing. We want your ass. We don't want you to do shit on your own. We, the government, gonna take care of you. Because if we take care of you, then that means we own your ass. You dependent on us. That's all the Democrats want you to do. They want to provide any and everything they can for you to have you dependent upon them. That's it. That's it. Do you realize that, hey, when the whatchamacallit came about, when they did that stimulus package, they gave everybody an extra $600 on top of their unemployment. Okay. So you telling me that everybody got $1,200 and an extra $600 on their check out of $1 trillion. I'm sorry. Out of $2 trillion. Out of $2 trillion, all you gonna give me is $1,200 and put $600 on my check. Now, for some people who sitting at home, sitting on their ass, I get it. You getting more than what you had. But when somebody has $2.2 trillion and they only giving your ass $1,200, that ain't I'm trying to help you. That's I'm trying to pimp you. I'm trying to get you hooked on what it is I have. That's why these niggas get mad when they said that $600 about to run out. What? What I'm gonna do now? I was making more money being at home than I was going to work. Why can't I just keep getting this $600? That's what I'm telling you. Just like Black Lives Matter. $1 billion, hundreds of millions of dollars going to Act Blue. How come ain't none of that shit going to Black Lives if they matter? Where's the community center? Where's the Help the Black Folks Fund? Where's the We Gonna Take Care of This Black Community Fund? If Black Lives Matter got hundreds of millions of dollars to the tune of $1 billion, why wouldn't they say these high crime areas, we gonna put some resources there because they're all trying to defund the police? Why not fund mental health? We're gonna put some mental health resources in these high crime areas, in the inner cities in Chicago and Inglewood, in Compton. We're gonna put some in the inner cities of Detroit. We're gonna put some in the inner cities of Louisiana, down in New Orleans. Well, all of these high crime areas that where niggas is dying on the daily, on the regular. Why wouldn't they put mental health resources there with $1 billion donated to their motherfucking cause? You know why? Because they're pumping in hundreds of millions of dollars into Joe Biden's campaign. Just saying.
So whatever issues you may have, let me just encourage all Black people to read that platinum package, not in saying vote for Trump, but your expectations should be better. And I like the fact that you are dealing with a casino owner. I don't gamble. Yet when we go to Vegas, our room be damn near free. We get free drinks because my wife is a gambler. So the casino owner has an interest in keeping her happy. I don't know if Trump likes Black people. I don't care if Trump likes Black people. If his package helps my community, my question to the Democrats become, why aren't we stealing points off that package, making that package a part of your...
Had the opportunity to be a Lyndon B. Johnson. Had the
17% of men voted for Kemp in Georgia. Black men.
Damn it, I'm trying to get that shit again.
If it's a gambler. So the casino owner has an interest in keeping her happy. I don't know if Trump likes Black people. I don't care if Trump likes Black people.
Do you hear that? For those of you that say Trump is a racist, why the fuck do you care? I personally don't think he is, but I don't think he's the Black folk savior neither. My question to you is, what fucking politician is? And the other thing about the thing that I'm gonna tell you the thing that I like most about Trump. Let me go ahead and get this out there. The thing that I like most about Trump is that Trump ain't a fucking politician. I like the fact, yes, he's a fucking businessman and all that shit, but I like the fact that he's not a fucking politician. Because I ain't got to worry about no motherfucker trying to finesse me. I like the fact that he's a rich motherfucker because that motherfucker don't give a fuck and he just gonna speak facts and talk business. He gonna say whatever he needs to say and do whatever he needs to do to get the deal done. That's what I like about him, comparing him to politicians. Politicians lie and tell you fuck shit just to fuck you over. At least this motherfucker's doing it trying to get the deal done. That's what I like about him. Yes, he's a rich billionaire fucking white boy who likes to do what the fuck he want to do and say what the fuck he want to say. He don't have to answer to nobody because he's a rich fucking white boy. How many fucking white rich billionaires do you know that like and take care of everybody? Look at fucking Bloomberg, white boy billionaire. You know what the fuck he pretty much said? I buy motherfuckers. I want somebody to do some shit for me, I pay him to do it. Just saying. Same motherfucker who had stop and frisk going. Stop these niggas and pull these niggas over, pat them down, and the motherfuckers did whatever. Let's do it. Because that's what I think works. He ain't trying to ask and trying to be nice to you, smile at you, make you feel all good like he cool and he down for you like Obama will do. Like Biden and them doing. They motherfucker, a rich motherfucker that come from money ain't gonna placate to nobody because that motherfucker all about their money and I don't need you to buy me shit. These politicians, they kiss ass, kissing babies, whatever you want to call it, because they trying to get their money up. And once they do, whether they're getting it from your ass donating, or whether they're getting it from Pfizer or the big fucking pharma, that's what they gonna do. You shouldn't give a fuck if Trump like black people or not. You should give a fuck about what he gonna do for you.
If his package helps my community, my question to the Democrats become, why aren't we stealing points off that package, making that package a part of your program that specifically says black people? It doesn't say disenfranchised. It doesn't say minority. It doesn't say women. It says black people.
Exactly. So like I forgot who said it earlier, talking about if it's for black folks, it'll be for black folks. I think that was Gen H. What he just said, black folks are playing for black folks. Black community. All black. Nothing but niggas. Why wouldn't we be for that? And then you got some people that's going to say, and they're saying it right now, probably watching this, but Trump be lying. You never know he be lying. Trump full of shit. He lying. He ain't going to do shit for black folks. Okay. What are the Democrats doing that's better than Trump's plan? Where's they playing at that shows, yeah, that's what he said. Here's what we got. And this is strictly for black folks. Where's that at? You ain't got one. But you got Joe Biden talk about, I talked with the big black caucus and we came up with stuff and we'll come up with something. If I talk to the big black caucus, that's all he do. That's the difference. Trump may not have the best plan for black folks, but he got one better than the Democrats. Trump may not deliver on the 15 items he got on the platinum plan, but hell, if he deliver on 5 of them, it's better than what the fuck they had. It's better than what the fuck Biden and Harris got. Because Biden and Harris, all they doing is, yeah, we need to do this. Yeah, we need to get that together. We're going to do better at this. What the fuck are you going to do? What's your plan? They ain't got one. All they can tell you is that we're going to repeal the Trump tax cuts, and then we are going to stop fracking, and then we're going to take the guns off the streets. That's it. And we're going to have police reform so there won't be another George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. How the fuck y'all going to do that in y'all the federal government? Y'all can come with all the fucking legislation y'all want to about police brutality, but that don't do shit about state and local police and law enforcement. So go ahead on with that bullshit. But what they doing? They finessing us, telling us what we want to hear so we can vote for them. That's why you got Cardi B and the Migos performing at the Democratic shit. Because that's what niggas like. We want to see Cardi. We want to hear Offset. You talking about politics and the first person you want to hear from is fucking T.I.? Really? Stupid.
Here we start to address why our allies are pivoting into us by black people. we have to say to ourselves, we don't know who's going to be. 17% of men voted for Kemp in Georgia. Black men. People said, well, why is that? I remember talking to Abrams and talking to other Democrats saying, you guys making assault rifles and immigration, your plan scares the shit out of black Southern men. Well, why did it scare the shit out of black Southern men, Michael? Well, outside of the city is Georgia. And black people who live in Georgia are never going to DR. Black men in the deep South are not going to DR because they know what their grandfathers and grandmothers endured. They know what their great-grandparents endured. So if there isn't a regional Democratic plan, we're going to see traditional Democrats lose, and we're going to see progressive Democrats win.
And you know what, Angry Man? Here's the thing. Angry Man said if he's racist, or basically saying from what I was saying, if he's racist, why did he pardon 2 black women and commuted their sentence? Ain't it funny how niggas don't never bring that shit up? Ain't it funny how that crime reform bill that he put in there so that niggas ain't getting locked up for them petty crimes no more? Ain't that shit something? How that shit don't come up no more? How niggas never bring that up? And you know why niggas don't ever bring it up? Like I say, niggas love to lie. They love to lie, and they love the lie when it supports their narrative. They love it. They fucking love it. That's their problem. You have people that will hear and see, straight witness with their own eyes something good, and they won't say shit about it because, damn, they kind of go against what I was saying about why I hate Trump. Why would you not say, well, maybe this motherfucker is showing me something better than what the fuck he telling me, better than what everybody else is saying. What this dude actions is saying is totally different. People said that this motherfucker, man, Trump responsible for how COVID fucked up. He's responsible for all them lives. The man said it out of his mouth. I didn't want to panic the American people. I didn't want to panic you because a lot of motherfuckers didn't know what the fuck this was. This shit was all new. Wouldn't that make sense? Because we saw what it was like when motherfuckers shit got shut down and motherfuckers started panicking, right? We saw what that shit was like, right? So the fact that he said, I didn't want to panic the people, why would he want to panic the people? Exactly. Telling them some shit like, yeah, this shit is fucked up. We don't know how many people gonna die, but it's deadly. That's gonna make motherfuckers be like, what? You don't know how many people gonna die, but you know the shit is deadly? Yeah, we closing down everything because we don't know what this shit gonna do. If he were to say that, it would change everybody's mentality on how they looking at this shit. That's why he kept saying, we're going to beat this. We're going to get through it. They're working on a vaccine for it. It's coming. We just got to hang in there. Maybe in the next couple of months, we can have something. He knew that that shit wouldn't be able to be done in 30 days. But you know what? To a bunch of dumb motherfuckers, I knew they wouldn't have it in 30 days or 60 days because I did research on it. It took them motherfuckers like 10 months to get H1N1 together. And that was a flu. This shit here was something different. It was like airborne pneumonia. Some shit we ain't had happen like that before on this level. But what motherfuckers didn't realize is that he was saying that to be strong and to be a leader with what was going on. Sometimes being a leader or a captain and you going up against some shit that's tough, some shit that's bigger, some shit that's gonna be difficult. Sometimes you have to tell motherfuckers, hey, look, this shit gonna be tough, but we gonna win it. This shit gonna be tough, but we gonna get through it. We got this. Even though the chips are stacked up against you like a motherfucker. That's leadership, motherfuckers. I can't tell you how many times I've been a part of a project that seemed fucking near impossible, but I never said it. I said it like we gonna kick this shit. We gonna fucking do this fucking project, and we gonna do it right, and we gonna do it before this motherfucking deadline. And you know what we did? With the odds stacked against us.
If you look at the 6th commission in DeKalb County, Mayor Ted is not just a Democrat, he's a Bernie-crat. He's a far more progressive than anybody who was running. He won, but traditional Democrats are having a hard time winning because in the South, when you start talking about things like immigration, black people start getting afraid that skilled labor or low-paying jobs that they usually would get are going to be taken from people who are imported in. So I want to just challenge the Democratic Party nationally to do some thinking about the nuance of Southern campaigning, because I believe that if you develop a Southern strategy, you have a greater chance of winning elections as a traditional Democrat versus either Republicans winning or totally progressive people.
Yeah,
and he's right. If Democrats really gave a shit about what black folks wanted and what black folks needed and what black folks what they want to do for us, they would cater to that group. Just saying.
I had some conversations with some Republicans about the platinum plan, and what I told them is Donald Trump's the president. He don't got to make policy commitments. If he really wants to get some shit done, he can do it.
Yeah, he could. With that said, though, I have never in my lifetime seen any president so gratuitously say, "I'll give you this for black people."
Thank you. And that's my thing. That's my biggest problems. Not problems, but one of my biggest problems with niggas and Trump. Niggas who don't like Trump hold Trump to a standard that they won't hold any other president to. And I don't understand how we got to that or where that shit came from, but this whole standard that y'all got and why y'all don't like Trump, Trump did this and Trump did that. And I ask niggas this shit all the time. Tell me something that Trump has done or that Trump is doing that another president ain't done before, and I get you, and I got you. But he's done more for black folks, and I got you. What other president in American history has done more for black folks than any other president has, and still ain't did no fuck shit? I'll wait. Lincoln ain't did shit for niggas. And people say that all the time. Lincoln free? No. What Lincoln did was not in the best interest of black folks. Lincoln did that in order for them motherfuckers to win the fucking war. The Union would have lost if they wouldn't have gave niggas these rifles. Believe. Had the Confederates been smart enough to say we're going to put these rifles in these niggas' hands, even though they might shoot some of us when they do it, but we'll win, they would have fucking won. Lincoln realized what the missing piece to tip the scale was before the Confederates did. That's it. He didn't do that for black folks. He did that for the Union to win the Civil War. Because one of the main points that them niggas had, problem that they had against the Civil War, was the fact that the Confederates had so many fucking resources and so much fucking money because they were fucking still using slaves. Had the North been using slaves to run them factories and shit like that, they would have been in more power too. They would have had more power and money too. But they didn't. And them motherfuckers employing them black folks in the service is what tipped the scales for them. Just saying. So tell me what other president has done it. And my point to saying that is that none of them have. None of them have. Obama, Jesus included. None of them have. And the thing is this. When you're going to look at saying, well, what is it that you want them to do? What is it that we have asked for? We didn't even ask for 40 acres and a mule. They told us they was going to give us that. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're talking about saying, well, geez, this, and this president is this president ain't did that, this president did this president did that, what about this? How come he ain't did this? He can do whatever he want. What other president has done this for niggas? Yes, Trump could motherfucker put an executive order through and say, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and that's just it. Why in the fuck did it take so long? And even though people say, well, the way that he put that money aside for the HBCUs, it ain't really that much money in the first place. Okay, well, motherfucker, what other president done did something like that? What other president has done something like that? What other president has just got some niggas up out of jail? What other president has said, well, we gonna take this bill that's locking all these niggas up and we gonna reverse that shit to where niggas ain't going to jail like this, so some of these niggas can actually get out of jail? What president has done that? And not to say that what Trump has done is just the best thing ever to happen to black folks, but what I'm saying is it's something. It's better than what's been. So how do you knock what's better than what's been? Just saying. How do you knock that? How do you just say that don't matter? How do you just not count that? That's all I'm asking. So when you're talking about what Trump ain't, what Trump is, all of that shit that you're going to say, fine, but tell me what other president has done better than that. And we can get somewhere. And I hear motherfucking niggas love to say this shit. Well, what the foreign relations, what the foreign countries, they look at us like we're nothing. They don't respect Trump. Man, I could give a fuck about what England, Asia, Africa, Norwegia, I don't give a fuck what another country think about us and our president. Because you know what? Whatever the fuck they thinking, whatever the fuck they saying, as us niggas say, you ain't gonna do shit. Russia don't respect us. Russia this. North Korea, they don't respect us. Y'all ain't gonna do shit. Tell me the last time one of these other countries that came over here and did some shit. 9/11. And that's because Bush and them was in bed with them motherfuckers and they made promises that they didn't keep. But tell me what other country, all these countries that don't like us now, our foreign relations are in the toilet, all that shit you want to talk. I don't give a fuck about what none of these other motherfucking countries gonna do. Fuck China, fuck North Korea, fuck all of these other countries. Cause they ain't gonna do shit. If you ain't coming over here, hitting these shores, fuck you. You ain't throwing shit over here because you don't want us throwing shit over there. So I don't want to hear that foreign relations, man, is terrible now that Trump is in office. Man, get the fuck. Foreign relations ain't nothing but a bunch of motherfucking foreigners get together having a conversation. You cannot like, most foreign countries don't like Americans no way. When Obama was in office, all of the foreign countries respected. Man, get the fuck out of here. No foreign countries respect us. All them motherfuckers hate us because they want to be us. But can't none of them do shit because we got a 500 motherfucking trillion billion dollar motherfucking military. That's why ain't nobody gonna do shit. Say what you want. Don't be thinking Obama is finessing and Biden done finesse and the Clintons have finessed their way with foreign relations. That's why we get respect. Man, no motherfuckers ain't gonna do shit because they don't want them special forces, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. They don't want Chuck Norris and the Delta Force. They don't want them motherfuckers showing the fuck up. That's why they do what we say. That's why they ain't gonna do shit. We owe China so much money, it's ridiculous. Somebody pull up the national debt. 32, 44 billion, trillion, gazillion dollars. Whatever the fuck it is. They ain't gonna do shit. Where is the national debt toll? Some kind of ignorant motherfucking amount of money. What is it, $27 trillion or some shit like that? Ain't no, come and get it, motherfucker. Come and get it. That's what I tell you. China, you want your money? Huh? Come get it. Come take it. Molan Labe. Come and take it if you want it. We owe it. Yup. You need to pay. You need to pay your money. Come get it. You know what? They ain't gonna come get it. Cause we shoot that iron. They ain't gonna show up on our shores like they ain't gonna storm the beach. They'll storm the beach in Normandy. Goddamn it, they ain't gonna storm this beach. You know why? Cause there's some niggas with some AR-15s alongside the military soldiers waiting to get it cracking. Walk up on this motherfucker front porch if you want to. That's why we ain't worried about no national debt. And that's just the truth. I'm telling you, all that shit about, oh, well, when Obama was in office, they had shit smooth. All the other countries liked us. They don't give a fuck. They still don't like us. Unless we giving them some shit, letting them have their way. Come on over here and buy some of this land or some shit. We'll let you do that. But I ain't paying you that $1 trillion, motherfucker. That's essentially what we telling them. That's why Trump, motherfucker, all them embargoes and shit like that, they done put on that shit, come from overseas. Hell motherfucking yeah. Because these big companies was taking all that shit and outsourcing it over there, making a few extra dollars when they should have been opening up shit here, and we should have been giving them some tax breaks so that they should be able to make this money here. But instead, they making the shit over there, and now we having problems importing shit from China. It's taking forever to get a goddamn laptop or a fucking computer or a goddamn Nintendo Wii or some shit because of the embargo tax. So fucking what? Y'all niggas need to learn how to act. Party's over. Because at the end of the day, as mad as you are, you ain't gonna do shit. Right. With the same motherfuckers we arguing with is the same motherfuckers we buying masks from. How they don't like us. It's business, man. It's about dollars and cents. And at the end of the day, we the badasses because we got them. We owe motherfuckers and still like, yeah, we'll buy these masks from you, but don't even talk to me about that trillion, bro. Don't talk to me about that debt. Tell you that now. Matter of fact, I need to borrow some more money from your ass. Oh, shit. That's probably because I'm fucking yelling. Let me push it back a little bit. That's just what it is. Them motherfuckers are literally not saying shit because they can't do shit. What we gonna do? Have a fucking third world war and blow all this shit up? We gonna launch all the nukes? That ain't fun for nobody. So what we gonna do? We gonna go and bomb their ass? Well, we know what happened the last time we did that. Hiroshima and Nagasaki like, hey, man, we ain't do no bomb, no. Let's not do that. We good. I don't want no part of that. Y'all can have it. Don't y'all send nan torpedo. Don't even drive by Pearl Harbor, goddammit, no more. Because we don't want that smoke. That's it. So I don't want to hear shit about that. Foreign relations was so much better when Trump wasn't here. Bullshit.
And I remember presidents back to Jimmy Carter. I have never seen a president say, this is what I will do for black people. And again, you're not dealing with a president or a career politician. You're dealing with a casino owner. Right. Casino owners do not have a problem figuring it out if it's going to be for their greater good. So I would just encourage black people.
It's in the description box. Show enough.
Selfish about your vote when you go in that booth. Doesn't matter to me who, and I want to tell people that bigger than your presidential race is who is running locally. Your local elections matter far more than your national elections on a day-to-day basis. On a local level, let me give you this example. We had a black prosecutor in Atlanta for 24 years by the name of Paul Howard. People were definitely afraid of Paul because he wasn't giving you no slack on your sentencing. One of my brothers got life in sentence, another brother got life. I say one probably deserved it, one probably didn't, you know what I mean? So he didn't play. There's a young woman who worked in his office who helped start a program that's an alternative to prison called Next Level Boys Academy. They always need donations. Y'all look them up and y'all check them out. Gary Davis. Next Level has saved many young men from long prison sentences because that people on the ground wanted to see a more progressive district attorney. She just won district attorney in Atlanta. So we're going to have, hopefully for the next 20, 24 years, restorative justice and alternative to prisons. And we'll be able to keep young black men home. We'll be able to put some of those black men in trade schools. Those black men will grow up to be stable husbands and fathers, which will help stabilize our community. This is the importance of local elections. So local, down that ticket, pass whoever, and listen to Tesman Figaro. I want y'all to Figaro. Y'all listen to Tesman's show. Tez gives it raw. So you watch CNN and Fox and they make it all cute. She talks to your ass like you talking about two rival gangs. So I want to support her Straight No Chaser show. It's an amazing show, and I want the average, everyday working class person to give her your ear because she breaks it down in very simple terms. And one of the things she's already told you is you might as well at this point let what happens in terms of that national election, but down that ticket. Who's going to be your prosecutor? Who's going to be your judge? Who's going to be your sheriff? Who's going to be your mayor? Who's on the school board? Those things affect you.
How many times have I said that? How many times have I said that? Your local politicians are what impact and control your everyday life. They have the biggest impact on your everyday life as you know it now. All of the shit that's wrong in your community, all of the shit that's wrong in your county, all the shit that's wrong in your state, all the shit that's wrong in your city, your community, your neighborhood, your district, your city and your county, all of that shit is determined by your local politicians, not your president. And not to say that the president ain't important, but I'm saying when you're talking about who your sheriff is, who your district attorney is, when you're talking about who your judges are, when you're talking about who's on your school board, when you're talking about who your mayor is, when you're talking about who's in your commissioner's court, who's on your county board, all of that shit matters most than anything else. Who's your fucking governor? Who's your senator, your state rep, your congressman? Those are the motherfuckers that matter the most because they have the most direct impact to your life as you know it. Do you realize that all of the taxes and shit that they put on motherfuckers in Chicago, do you realize in Chicago, you gotta have a motherfucking FOIA card in order to buy ammunition. Then you gotta have a CCW card in order to carry a pistol. Then you gotta pay all these motherfucking, you gotta have a state sticker on your license plate. Then you gotta have a city sticker on your license plate. It's always something that they're taxing you for. That shit ain't got nothing to do with Obama. That shit ain't got nothing to do with Trump. That ain't got nothing to do with Bush. That's all your local motherfuckers who come up with them fancy, fun ways to tax your ass and take more of your fucking money. Your city tax, property tax, all that extra shit, your sales tax, that's all local government. Do you know how much motherfucking that sales tax in Chicago is like 10.25%? That's more than what motherfuckers are asked to tithe. And that's to the Lord for your salvation. So to tell a motherfucker, hey, Mr. Mayor, hey, Mr. County Commissioner, hey, Mr. Congressman, hey, Mr. State Rep, I want you to lower my fucking taxes. I'm paying you motherfuckers thousands, and the fucking amount of money I'm paying y'all is ridiculous. I'm going to vote for the person who's going to put more money into my pocket and lower my taxes. That's the shit you should be asking for, because that allows you to have more buying power in your own neighborhood. All them fancy fucking street lights and all those fancy road repairs y'all doing, y'all need to do that shit in my neighborhood if you want my vote. Well, it take time to do it. Motherfucker, you either do it in 2 years or we gonna vote your ass out in 4. That's the kind of shit you need to do. That's what you need to be telling your mayor. As opposed to telling the mayor, we need to get these guns off the street. No, you need to talk to the fucking district attorney and say, why are you sending these motherfuckers home who getting arrested on gun charges? Why are you sending them home on fucking house arrest and they go out and commit another fucking gun crime? Get another fucking gun charge. That shit happened in Chicago. They locked the motherfucker up for guns. That motherfucker got out on house arrest, got out and went and shot somebody else. Shot and killed another motherfucker. What kind of shit is that? Not the motherfucker was in jail for 2 years, in jail for 4 years, then came home house arrest. No. Motherfucker got locked up. Was locked up for a few weeks. They sent the motherfucker home on house arrest. The motherfucker went out on house arrest and killed somebody else and got locked back up again and started back at go. And y'all motherfuckers worried about Trump not saying I denounced the KKK when he actually did months ago, years ago? Makes no sense.
On a daily basis, far more than any president. So I want you to educate yourself on the ground. In Atlanta, we were able to not only get Fonnie Willis as a DA in Fulton County, we were also able to get a Bernie Crack in one of the largest commission seats in DeKalb County by the name of Mayor Ted. He was formerly a mayor, passed marijuana decriminalization years before Atlanta, was actually more progressive than any metro area around him, and has managed to help everyone else push forward. So Ted, I'm looking forward to being in that seat 20 years or more and making radical change.
Right, the dude that killed that little boy. Didn't he have a record too? He was on probation or some fuck shit like that. Shit is ignorant, man.
In DeKalb County, which is one of the largest and richest counties for black people in the state of Georgia.
I want to thank you too for introducing me to Teslin Figueroa, man. You know what I mean?
I love her.
Like,
I love that sister.
When you connected me with Teslin, we've been hitting the ground ever since. So you know, we the straight shot, no chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeart Radio Podcast Network.
I want to congratulate you too, man. I have, I love you like a brother. I love both of you guys, not only for what you do in terms of being famous in radio, but the real world application of economics in terms of envy, the real world application in terms of media and economics. And you only as good as the circle of people and the thinkers that challenge you. And I want to appreciate both you black men today, because oftentimes we aren't congratulated. You know, both of you men have families, both of you men are rocks and pillars in your family and organization. And I think that more of that is replicatable and possible. And we need to keep encouraging one another in that way. And that's a part of this Black Banking Challenge. The men who helped start this, Ryan Glover, Paul Judge, Andrew Young, Bo Young, his son. These men are men of character and integrity who want to bring a good and service that will not only be good for them and their company, but be good for the greater community. And I'm very happy to be in a circle of men like you guys.
No,
man, and here's my thing with that. Is he speaking up and vouching for these cats? Yes, he is. My thing is this, though. Like somebody else said in the chat earlier, we don't ask for all these type of credentials with other motherfucking institutions. And I'm glad that he did, and it's all good. But these motherfuckers can be on some bullshit too. I'm not gonna say that they ain't. They could be, but the thing is this: the fact that it's something that is potentially to help us as a community, as a group, is something that we need to put something on. Like I said earlier, should everybody empty out their fucking Chase accounts and their Fifth Third accounts and their Wells Fargo account and put all their money over here? No, that is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that you should put something over there, put something on it. I plan on starting. If I don't do nothing to take $100 and put that shit on an account in January when this shit open up, it's something. Just like when I talked about those people who bought that land, that 97 acres of land. It's like people say, yeah, but it's in a place where ain't nobody going. It's something. It's how you start. It's a hell of a good start for a plan to what could become. May not turn around in 2 weeks, may not turn around in 6 months, but in 6 years, it could be something big. It could be something incredible. It could be something huge that you never thought it could be. It could be just that, just by making that an investment now. A small investment at that.
Appreciate you
too, Mike. You know,
we
you
see all the work
Definitely.
that you're doing, and we appreciate you, and we're glad to have a brother like you on our side.
I got
Thank you, Mike.
I got one more question though. Your focus is always on local politics, but what do you think about the presidential election? Are you participating in the process?
I have to be. I'm waiting on the Democrats to counter the platinum plan, because regardless of how I feel about you personally, if your plan helps my community, it starts to make sense. And what I've been seeing in that plan is some stuff that will radically change our interaction with government. So I encourage Black people to read it before we talk about some of the other stuff. I just don't give a damn if you like me or not. I don't give a damn if you're racist. I give a damn, can we get some business done? My grandfather would say to me, he was like, I have white friends at work, and we at work, we the best of friends. And I don't invite them to my Christmas party, and I actually, they don't invite me to theirs. Because he understood that the community we lived in, and Google it, it's called the Collier Heights. It was gentrified by Black people, for Black people, and it depended on us. And that way, because that community was strong, that community was able to help get people like Mayor Andrew Young elected. That community has been the center of Black economics. As that community turns into a renter versus ownership community, I would like to see Black people repopulate that community, secure the West Side, and make sure you always have an economic and political enclave to lean to. So for me,
and that in itself, he said a mouthful. He dropped a bomb. I don't care if you racist or not. I really don't. I don't care if you hate niggas or if you love niggas. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the fact that, hey, is this something that can benefit me and mine? Whether it's my household or if it's my people, can it benefit us? Can it benefit me? Then I could give a good goddamn if you say you like me or not. And Black folks, we have gotten so caught up into that. We want you to be nice to us. We know you supposedly hate us or you hate us, but we want you to love us. We want you to treat us as equal. We want you to be so nice to us. We want you to treat us with, why the fuck do you care about somebody who you think or who you say on a consistent basis hates you? Why would you then have the expectation for that same group or that same person to like you and be nice to you? That's stupid. I'm sorry, but that is. And the fact that you won't do business with a motherfucker because they don't like you, you're stupid. You are fucking stupid if you won't do business with somebody that don't like you. I don't like McDonald's. But my wife and my daughter love their fries. I do business with them. Ain't the first place I'm going to get a fucking burger. But God damn it, if my wife or my daughter wants some fries, it is what it is. McDonald's is racist. What? We have to stop getting caught up on that. This whole, they racist, they don't like us, they mistreat us, they do this to us because we Black. Then fucking take the shit over. And the last time I checked, protesting ain't got shit for niggas. Ask Martin.
On a very local level, nationally, whoever I feel may help me the best locally is the person that's going to get my vote. And I want to encourage Black people, when you go in that booth, have no guilt about whoever you vote about. Vote for your gut and who you think is going to best help you and your community on an individual basis. And then take that vigor out of the voting booth and call your local politicians accountable for what they promise they're going to do. Because no politics matters like local politics. The soap opera of who wins presidency is equivalent to the Washington football team versus the Dallas Cowboys. It's a hype team. I mean, it's a hype game. We're all going to watch it, but that ain't the Super Bowl. We're trying to win the Super Bowl. So let's endure through the end on a very local level. Let's call our people accountable, hold them accountable for what their promises are. And on a national level, whose national policy is going to affect me best locally? I don't give a damn who likes me or not.
Yeah, nobody cares about the trash Cowboys, by the way.
Man, shut up. No, Mike is all business, man. Mike is all business. But, Mike, I seen you curve a politician before now. That shit was so cold. Listen.
What you talking about,
when
man?
we was at the Tyler Perry grand opening, and there was a certain former president on the red carpet. Mike said, I ain't talking to that motherfucker. He locked too many Black people up.
Wonder who that was. Wonder who that was. Anybody want to guess who that could be? I'll wait. A shout out to Angry Man. He said, I was one of those people who disliked Trump, but listening to you and others made me take a closer look. And that's why I bought a Trump face mask today. Shout out to you. It was the same thing for me. I keep telling people I voted for Obama both times. Both times I did. And I voted for Trump last minute. I mean, down to the very second of when I actually voted in the booth is when I voted for that dude. And it took me just to do that. What is it that I really know to be true about both candidates? And when you look at what Trump did, is Trump perfect? No way, no form, no shape, fashion, whatever. No, not even close. But for a motherfucker who been in politics for 47 years and ain't got one thing that he done did good for niggas, I'm not taking a chance. If the one motherfucker who done been in politics for over 47 years ain't known for shit but hanging with motherfucking and being mentored by Strom Thurmond, and not that Strom Thurmond was a racist and all that shit, but that lets me know this motherfucker ain't got no good for me. He ain't trying to even do shit for me. Because if he was, he would have did something in 47 fucking years. Same thing with the Clintons. They hadn't done shit for niggas. Ever. They was cool with them. Talked like them. Acted like them. Carried hot sauce in their purse. But they had nothing on the books to say, we did this for black folks. Here's what we did. Here's how we did it. We're going to do more of it, bigger and better. So why would I believe Hillary Clinton is going to do something for me when this bitch thinks I'm stupid enough to think she don't know what a fucking server is? I can't. And I'm not saying that Trump is the motherfucking Messiah. I'm not saying that Trump is the best thing that ever happened since sliced bread. But I can say this. The motherfucker done did some different shit to the tune to where I have benefited, where the country has benefited. Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, I'm a bit of a patriot. I like the fact that some of these jobs and shit then came back over here. I like the fact that these motherfuckers that want to outsource getting taxed like a motherfucker to where they need to be motherfucking coming out of here. I like that shit. I like the fact that he redoing some of these deals we got with other foreign countries and shit to where we benefiting from the shit, as opposed to us bending over for some other motherfuckers. That's all I have to say about that, man. I just wanted to show, number one, the different dynamic of this show without Angela Yee. And number two, I wanted to show how these brothers got together and actually had a good fucking conversation. A really good conversation.
No, we won't.
Well, Mike,
when I talked to Senator Harris, and I appreciate her conversation. She had a bunch of black men, yourself included, and she honestly took the advice back to the party. But one of the things I told her, I said, to be very honest with you, I think it's as simple in terms of black men and the children of men who serve inappropriate amounts of time in prison for nonviolent drug offenses. I think that it do Biden good to look at a camera and say, I apologize.
That's right.
I was mistaken.
Right.
There's nothing like,
shout out to my man Left Third
forgiving people
for saying I'm not that kind of guy. Hit me with $5.
Just say, I fucked up. And Southern men,
my man Night Train always coming through. Hit your boy with $50. Be safe out there, bro.
But in particular, if you want to take the South, I just encourage the Democrats to make.
And my man Angry Man hit your boy up with $10 as well. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
The last couple of days that Torian Walker co-signed, saying, that the Democrats had better start talking to black men. We've been telling Democrats that for 6 years.
That's right.
Yep.
Black women give 96 to 98% of their vote. Black men give 90 to 94% of their vote.
And what do they cater to? The women. Who do they go out there and talk to? The women. And I get it. But you got to think about it like this too, black folks. We 13 or 14% of the population. Half of that is men, the other half is women. It might be a little bit lopsided one way or the other, 7%, 6%, or whatever. The point is this. When you're talking about 14% out of the rest, you're talking about roughly, what is that, like 38, 40 something million people, 30 million people, whatever it is. But when you talk about that, does our vote matter? To a degree. But we need to make sure that we get on the same page first and we know what the fuck we asking for, what we want, before we start complaining and saying, give us this and give us that. And then we need to look at what people are actually doing to say, well, what the fuck you've done and what your track record is ain't looking too good. What do you actually have for us today? Not some empty promises, some shoulda, woulda, couldas, and what we might do. But just like he said, he told Kamala Harris and them, what y'all need to do is have Biden get on this motherfucker and just flat out and say, I fucked up. I'm sorry. What I did in 94 was not the right thing for all of the people in this country. But it won't do that because they look at us and say, it's only 13%. We got almost half of that. Fuck them. Fuck them. Put Cardi B up. Put Offset out there. Get Talcum X to come out, talk a little bit, and that's what it is. Did y'all see that post of Talcum X? How he talked about Kamala Harris when she first started running for president, and then once she got the nomination, what he said about her? How he literally flipped the script, just like she flipped the script. She talked shit about Joe Biden, called him a racist, and then said he was a fucking rapist, and she believed the women, and then she's his running mate. Just like that, overnight. No, hey, he needs to talk about this. No, hey, he needs to address this. Nothing. Right, come on, man. Here's the deal. Come on, man. Here's the deal. That's all he do. I'm just saying. I hope that this video helps somebody become a better version of themselves. I hope that this video helps somebody think about what it is that's important and what it is that matters, as opposed to being liked and being cool with a motherfucker. It's about getting the best deal possible. And that motherfucker who got the best deal may not like your ass and may not be your best friend and may not make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. That's why they call it business. That's exactly why they call it business. Make the best deal. Stop trying to be best friends.
So the fact that you ignore that is a disrespect and insult within itself. So I would encourage people. I'd encourage people on the Democratic side, who are many of my friends and family, to start to create an agenda that deals with educating black boys, and what I believe in particular should be trades, so you will have young men that are fit to marry, that are fit to take your daughters and build their first, second, third generation of wealth. And if we're not doing that as a Democratic Party, I say we, because in Georgia, I'm still registered as a Democrat. If we are not doing that, we're doing our party a disservice. We're doing the community that we lean on for over 90% of their votes a disservice. And ultimately, we're doing the state a disservice.
Absolutely.
Mike, we love you, brother. Give him the website for Greenwood.
Man, www.bankgreenwood.com. Make sure you guys hit it up.
There you go. And that was pretty much it. They was talking about sneakers and all that shit after that, talk about being sneakerheads. But I just wanted to go over this and just talk about this because I thought that it really mattered. I really did. And I hope that maybe instead of people, it's me having the expectation of people believing what I'm saying, to hear it come from somebody like Big Mike, a lot of people like the Breakfast Club, to hear it come from them and to hear them actually being on the same page, and the fact that it didn't have Angela Yee in there and it was such a better show. I definitely hope that this helps somebody change their minds and help somebody think a little bit different about politics. I hope that it helps people think a little bit different about Trump. I hope that it really helps people start to challenge those that are in their local government more so than it is as far as being involved in the drama and the reposting of all of this bullshit about what's going on for the presidency. It's an important vote. Yes, it is, but there's nothing more important than your local government. I'm just saying. Thank you to everybody that stopped by and checked me out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. If this is something that you have not shared with somebody, shame on you. Watch the replay. Hit the donate button. I want to say thank you to everybody that came by tonight, everybody that joined the show. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And hey, I'm trying to get back into my normal. Like I said, I got a little baby in the house. I ain't sleeping all the time like I should, but it is what it is. It's good and it's great, but I'm trying to get my scale balanced a little bit better. And hopefully in the next few weeks, I will get a little bit more on par to where I can do more shows more frequently and to be more consistent. So thank you guys. I love you guys. Oh, well, you know what? I ain't gonna say it. I can't say it yet. But something really, really good should be happening soon for Soto Nation and us all. But I ain't gonna say it. But something really big is gonna be happening soon. So keep your eyes out. Y'all gonna love it. Believe that. Believe that. I forgot about. I gotta do something after this and get some things straight. Yeah, but yes, I just thought about that. Man, there's been so much going on. But y'all have a good night. I love y'all. I appreciate you all. Thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who clicked the like button. And thank you to any and everybody that just stopped by. Leave a comment or something like that in the description box. I mean, not in the description box, in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I love y'all. Peace. I'm out.
Wake that ass up in the morning.
That is not what I wanted to do. There we go. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out.